Okay. Take your time. It is 97 degrees and a steady wind west. Good weather conditions, all things considered, tonight in Southern California. Presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling and Chick-fil-A. Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside is the backdrop for tonight's primetime clash between the top two teams in California, the Fullerton Hornets and the Riverside Tigers. Glad you're with us. Nick Rice in hand for week 2 of college football as Fullerton defends its 2017 national championship at a 21-game win streak against their stiffest competition of the year in RCC. All right, the Tigers made the SCFA title last season on the heels of a 10-2 year. And what was impressive throughout the campaign is that the Tigers, in all 3 phases, played important football in critical moments in some very interesting ball games for the Tigers in what was a conference championship year and an SCFA semifinal win over Ventura on their way to meeting this Fullerton Hornets club in Whittier for the SCFA championship, a game which was for the build-up was expected to be an incredible matchup. Fullerton, off of the early Tigers start, exploded out of the gates and wound up winning the ball game to advance to the state championship. And since that moment, the Hornets have now sat on a 21-game win streak, coming off a thrilling ball game against Golden West last week. The Hornets come in, along with Riverside, undefeated. These two teams, according to the JC Athletic Bureau, rank number 1 and number 2 in the state of California. And from all of the pundits coming into tonight, this is expected to be arguably one of the most important non-conference battles in the SCFA. Fullerton and Riverside. This is the type of game, considering the implications and the rankings coming in, that may end up determining playoff seedings, conference championships, and even who advances to the state championship. This battle over the years has just been that important. The Fullerton Hornets and the Riverside Tigers. Glad you're with us as we're set to bring you all the coverage throughout the year of RCC football. Glad you're with us, rccfootball.net, and all of the platforms involved for tonight's ball game as the Tigers battle the Hornets here at Arthur N. Wheelock Stadium in Riverside. It should be noted that there is a streak for the Tigers on the line tonight, as Riverside has never lost in 9 years under the tutelage of head coach Tom Kraft at home. They are an unprecedented record during the regular season at home and overall are 46-1 in this building. They have not lost any game, regular or postseason, since 2014, and they have an incredible fan base behind them. It should be a sellout crowd as we are a good 10 to 15 minutes prior to kickoff here between Fullerton and Riverside. Both teams are in their appropriate sides and ready to get this game going, as Arthur N. Wheelock Stadium is the backdrop with some beautiful scenery around us as well. Nick Rice on hand in week 2 of college football. Throughout the broadcast, we will also take a look at some scores and some notables from around the National Southern Conference. A quick league update from Riverside. The Tigers have switched from the National Central Conference to the National Southern Conference, which also should make for some intriguing storylines throughout the year as they're in a league involved with Saddleback, Grossmont, Southwestern, and what is a rigorous division and what expects to be a tough road for RCC in conference play. The Tigers coming off a 10-2 campaign. Fullerton has won 21 straight, including a 13-0 stint last year. Fullerton comes in undefeated, but the Hornets did have a scare down the stretch in Huntington Beach last week as Fullerton knocked off Golden West 30-27 a week ago. And in that game, the Hornets, after exploding out to a 17-point edge in the second half, are the Rustlers with an outstanding performance from their quarterback in Bull Kalbacher, who threw for over 300 yards against Fullerton, had a chance down 3 to engineer a game-winning drive. Golden West fumbled, and thus the Hornets won the game 30-27. As for Riverside, it was a different story throughout their contest in Torrance as the Tigers dismantled the likes of El Camino. 34-7 was the final of that contest against the Warriors, a game in which the Tigers saw their offense explode, led by new first-year quarterback in Stone Smarts, who we will be talking about throughout a majority of the broadcast tonight. He has an intriguing story, and we look forward to bring you his storyline along with all of the RCC Tigers and what is a retooled group. Riverside with a brand new roster for 2018. They looked very impressive against El Camino, a team which, at least off of last year's expectations, does not have quite the roster to compete for a state championship, but Fullerton certainly does. The Tigers will have their hands full tonight. RCC, which lost to Fullerton last year, but has beaten them in this building before and hopes to do the same yet again. All of the fans who are filed in terrific numbers for tonight's game at Arthur and Wheelock Stadium are ready for Riverside to approach the field, as they will in a moment. And the Tigers, led by their captains, will be run onto the field as Riverside is dressed in their beautiful black uniforms with orange numbers and white trim. Tyrone Marshall has the flag, and he is ready. Riverside won the toss and elected to receive to start the ball game. So the RCC Tigers and the Fullerton Hornets. Okay, here we go, national anthem. Thank you for joining us here at rccfootball.net as the Tigers and the Hornets gather on opposite sidelines. The cannon is off, the national anthem is over, and we are set for some football here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, California. It's the Tigers of RCC and the Hornets of Fullerton in a battle that may determine the fates of both clubs and their playoff hopes. Yes, it's week 2 of the college football season, but Riverside and Fullerton come in ranked number 1 and number 2 respectively in the state of California coming in, according to the preseason JC Athletic Bureau. And for the Tigers and the Hornets, this contest has determined SCFA and state championship. The Tigers are ready too, as Riverside comes in fielding an offense that ranked as the number 2 unit in the states running the ball last year. And overall, this offense was explosive at 38 points per game. And they'll get a chance to put the first points on the scoreboard here in week 2. Fullerton and Riverside, both teams come in ranked top 2 in the state and top 8 in the country. Corey Lewis puts the ball down. Nick Rice on hand here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium. It should be a good one. A sellout crowd here from Riverside, California, an hour east of Los Angeles. Lewis from 11 yards away, he measures. With his left leg, he will approach from the opposite. And he runs into it and swings his left leg at the kickoff. We are underway with a kickoff taken helmet high. Stovall returns from 8 yards deep. He's along the right sideline to the 5 and motors out at the 9-yard line where he is leveled quickly by Ayinde Shola. RCC will have a long field off of the questionable decision on the part of Melqui Stovall. You have to believe the Tigers are juiced for this ball game tonight as they get a chance at redemption against the team that knocked them off in the SCFA title a year ago. The Hornets over the Tigers in the SCFA championship, a game which the Tigers led but lost that lead in large part to the 6 turnovers they committed in the contest. But RCC has a steady quarterback and a terrific signal caller who will line up in the pistol formation. Malik Walker, the back, as they line up at the 8-yard line right hash. A gut run to Walker over left tackle. He surges to the 10 and is pulled down by the waist at the 11-yard line by Kazibwe, as Malik Walker expects to be the bell cow tonight, a sophomore from Corona, California. last week in the win over El Camino. 20 carries, 127 yards, and a touchdown. And Malik Walker will line up once more as the pistol, but both teams are putting in substitutions. The officials have resumed play after a quick stoppage. Tigers hurry up on the ball at the 11-yard line. Second play of the ball game, inside run to Walker, and he motors ahead to the 14. Gazibwe involved in the tackle, along with Cole Hansen, as Riverside fields an offense that averaged 38 points per game and over 460 yards per game a year ago, both ranked in the top 11 of the state of California. Tigers will bring out a bunch set right, and now Stovall wanders over split far rights on a 3rd down and 4. Shotgun snap Smart. He's back with pressure. He is hit and smothered back to the 2-yard line as Asher Froh records the sack, and the Tigers begin the ball game with a 3-and-out. And Riverside got off on the wrong foot with the Stovall kickoff return, as he had a chance 8 yards deep to take a knee, but instead brought it out, and the Tigers began that possession at their own 8-yard line. From the 3, Garibay checks in, the sophomore from Rubino, California, to punt, as his heels are along the back line of the end zone. Fullerton looks to bring the kitchen sink. Hornets have 10 men near the line of scrimmage. Garibay sends it away cleanly, wobbling end over end. That brings back the return man, Robert Downs, to the 41. He stumbles and is tripped up with the 34, as he was taken down quickly off of the return of 7 yards. As Jamar McGlory makes the stop, and Fullerton has an incredibly short field for their first drive of the ball game. 2 minutes in opening quarter, no score between the top 2 teams of the state in Riverside and Fullerton. A game which may determine playoff seedings and conference championships. Certainly a critical ball game between the 2 teams. Riverside benefited from a 5-0 record in non-conference action to win the National Central Conference, with a record of 9-1 in the regular year, 10-2 at the end of the season. Gress Jensen, a transfer from Montana, lines up at quarterback for Fullerton, hands it quickly on a gut run over left guard, a quick gain to Jared Moore, as he picks up 5 on the run over left guard that time. A sophomore by way of Dallas, Texas. Fullerton, this offense may have just had one of the greatest seasons in junior college history last year. They racked up 54 points per game, did the Hornets a year ago. Left slot is Jawan Johnson with 3 wide. Jensen off a play action, flipped it short to Johnson, who makes the catch, but is spun down quickly at the Tigers' 25, a gain of 4. Riverside's defense, stout on 3rd down a year ago, forces 3rd and 1, and Fullerton runs up on the ball quickly. Moore is spelled, and Jensen lines up with an empty backfield before quickly the Hornets bring in some help alongside Gress Jensen, a transfer from Montana at 6'2", 225 pounds. He has the size and athleticism to run for this first down himself. He bark signals and lines up in a pistol formation with 4 receivers in the set. Hornets go with an inside handoff. He's hit behind the line, then Charles finishes him off in the backfield. The linebacker, Devin Charles from Redlands, California, he was hidden in the depth chart at linebacker a year ago, but makes an important 3rd down stop and the hope opener for Riverside. Fullerton was 1 for 4 on 4th downs last week, and they ball game, and they need the 24. Jensen calls signals, and now there is a whistle. 11:29 on the first quarter clock, and a delay of game is assessed against Fullerton. The Hornets committed penalties early in the contest last week against Golden West, which wound up giving them a slow start, and the Rustlers took the lead in that contest 14-7 before a surge from Fullerton gave them at one point a 17-point edge. 11:28 first quarter. Fullerton, along with Riverside, is led by veteran head coach. It's Tim Burns in his 11th. Wide 2x2 left hash as the Hornets need 2 yards. Speed option toss. Left side, here he goes. Johnson's got the first down 20. He races down the sideline, and with a good downfield block, he strolls in. Touchdown, Fullerton. To take a 7-0 lead over RCC. Boy, this Tigers roster, likewise the Fullerton, this coaching staff searched far and wide to search and grab some of the best talent in America, as RCC has players from 14 other states, Australia, they have 7 from Florida, and 2 from states such as Hawaii and Louisiana. They have grabbed championship. 10-2 last year, and a National Central Conference championship for the Tigers of Riverside City College. Lewis tees up the ball and is ready to send it away for the Fullerton Hornets. As he runs into it and belts it down the field, it's an end-over-end kick which soars into the end zone and is taken on a hop by Marshall, which is down for a touchback. 7-0 Fullerton, 11-17 to go opening quarter, as the Tigers are led by quarterback Stone Smart, sophomore from Lewis, California. He transferred from Northern Arizona and won the job in the offseason, a job which was held by Victor Viramontes last year before he switched the linebacker. The Tigers from Stone Smart, he has an outstanding resume, a 2-time state champion at Deloro High School, where he became the school record holder for pass yards, completions, and touchdowns for a career, and moved over to NAU, where he split snaps alongside 2 other quarterbacks, but still managed to be a very promising underclassman. And now one of the premier offensive threats for the Tigers. A belt snap off the empty. He's back, scrambles over left guard, dances to the 30, and is tripped up just short of the marker. A 9-yard gain. Cole Hansen the tackle. As RCC's quarterback Stone Smart ran for 114 yards and over 6.5 yards a run last week over El Camino. Smart and company are up on the ball at the 34-yard line near the right hash. 3 receivers in the set. Marshall right slots against the Hornets base 4-3. Smart motions out his running back Walker over left. Belt snap. Smart looks left. He'll tuck it and run, and is spilled at the 35. Ryan Simpson makes the tackle. First down, Riverside. And they're opening first down of the home opener here. Fullerton with a 7-0 lead. 4.5 minutes into the ball game. Dunmar Fisher checks in at tailback. And is sacked back to the 32. James Rawls, freshman from Manhattan Beach, California. Not only did he record the sack, but he forced Christopher Bradbury, the offensive guard for the Tigers, to lose his helmet. And he's now out of the ball game. Riverside checks in Kane Villamue at tight end over rights, number 40. He is one of the players from Hawaii. 2nd and 13, back at the 32. Pistol snap, gut run to Fisher. He sweeps right and is tripped up at the 34. A 2-yard gain over right tackle that time. Darso with a stop. RCC. From Arthur and Wheelock Stadium have committed some mistakes. Jamal McGlory and also Deshaun Neal are the two on this punt team that will run after the return man. As Fullerton brings in Robert Downs, standing at his own 28-yard line. Garibay sends away a line drive, end over end, bounces to the 40, and Downs lets it roll, where it takes a stop to the 26. Hornets scored on a 4-play, 34-yard touchdown drive on the last possession, and will set up shop this drive at their own 26. Great field position for Fullerton on the first possession. But now the Hornets will have a long field for their second drive, led by quarterback Gress Jensen, a transfer from Montana, who finished third in voting for the Stats FCS Jerry Rice Award given to the National Freshman of the Year, as he threw for over 2,500 yards and 20 touchdowns in Missoula at Montana University in the Big Sky. And with those accolades, expects to have an outstanding year for the Fullerton Hornets. I formation for Fullerton, the visitors from 20 miles west here of Riverside, 20 to 25 miles west. Deep back, freshman from West Lynn, Oregon, in Amir McGee. They feed him over right guard. He slips a tackle, motoring across the 30 and spins to the 32. As Neal converges of the tackle along with Charles. 6 minutes in opening quarter, Fullerton with a 7-0 lead. And the Hornets leaned on the ground game in that second half in the win over Golden West at Huntington Beach last week. Hornets will line up with a tight end right. It's a quick run. Here's McGee, who finds a small seam and is taken down at the 33. That'll set up 3rd and 4 for Fullerton, and the Hornets quickly bring in mass substitutions. Jensen checks back at a quarterback as he is joined for the Hornets in what is a wide 2x2, split over right, both Sean Carter and Robert Downs. Hornets need the 37-yard line to convert on 3rd and 4. Tigers line up on a dollar defense. 3 down linemen. They'll rush him stunts defensively. Jensen back. He has time. Shoots it deep down the field for Carter. He trips and got it to the 25-yard line. Boy, what a throw from Greg. Beaten in this building 2 years ago, and Fullerton in the SCFA championship last year. The Tigers seek revenge here at home. RCC has never lost in the regular season at home under head coach Tom Kraft, and are 46-1 overall in this building. An incredible statement to the consistent success of former Aztec of San Diego State Tom Kraft in his 9th season with the Tigers. From the 31-yard line of RCC, deep drop Jensen throws it out, cut left, leaping catch Xavier Green, and he's run out by Swift at the 20-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 19, in fact, a 12-yard completion to set up 2nd and shorts. Neck Rice on hand, Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, halfway through the opening quarter. Hornets are in the red zone, holding a 7-0 lead. 3 receivers, quick toss left to Avinger. He slips a tackle with a straight arm and surges down the left sideline out to the 15. physical run from Lucky Avinger, the true freshman from La Habra, as he moves the chains on a gain of 5. The Hornets with a heavy dose of Infante Eckford last week in the win over Cypress, Texas, and he has largely been on the sideline tonight as the Hornets are bringing in really man by committee in the backfield, and now Jared Moore checks in at tailback as he will flank Gresh Jensen. The HBU transfer over left, covered up by the star, former Bulldog of Fresno State, Eric Wilson. Jensen takes the snap, bootleg right, he'll roll the pocket, flips it short over to the stumbling Johnson, and he is tagged down by Swift at the 12-yard line. That's number 12, and Jawan Johnson. He is a speedster and expects to have huge plays this year. He averaged nearly 30 yards. And after the 2-yard completion, Hornets are inside the 15 of the Tigers. Moore flanks Gresh Jensen right, Downs Johnson, and also Houston are the 3 receivers right, along with Carter over left. Gut run of Moore, he bounces off a tackle, he's inside the 10, and is spilled at the 5-yard line. The Tigers are giving up ground running the ball. Fullerton has marched from their own 26-yard line to the Tigers' 5. First and goal, Fullerton. Inside run to Moore. He slips a tackle and strolls in. Touchdown, Fullerton. The Hornets have jumped out to a 2-score lead with 6:05 to play opening quarter. And they'll bring out Corey Lewis, sophomore from Hurricane, Utah, for the extra points. 4 for 5 on PATs this year. Out of the hold from Jensen and the snap from Bobby Conklin. And he readies. Here we go. Good snap. Great placement. And the kick is blocked. It's rolling around to the 10-yard line, juggled. It's still loose. Swift had it for a moment, but it's recovered by the Tigers, and it won't matter. It's his second blocked PAT in as many weeks. And Fullerton is suffering from the injury of Vincent Narvaez as he is down and in some serious pain once they're around to the 4-yard line. But RCC stops the point after try, and the Hornets lead the Tigers 13-0. Tonight's broadcast is presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling, along with the proud sponsors of Chick-fil-A. 13-0 lead for the Fullerton Hornets. Head coach Tim Burns of those Hornets, in his 11th season, fields the best winning percentage for a coach in school history. He has won 77.1% of his games, going 91-27, including winner of 21 in a row. The Hornets were good for years, but he has turned this program into a national powerhouse. And off of their narrow win over Golden West last week, it certainly should be noted that the Rustlers are also a team that could compete for a SCFA championship. Golden West gave them their money down the stretch of that second half and the 30-27 victory. Here Fullerton leads 13-0 over a team in the Tigers shell-shocked to starts. Their dangerous return man deep, Tyrone Marshall, along with number 2, Tyler Kennedy, the redshirt freshman from Moreno Valley, California, as Lewis runs into the ball and booms it down the field. End over end, another great kickoff, which soars over Marshall's head, and that will be a touchback. RCC is 8-0 in home openers as well. One of the Hornets is down and hurts. That being number 43, Tamon Faye Malo, their leading tackler, the true freshman from Redlands East Valley High School, just up the road here from Riverside and Redlands, California. And this looks to be another significant injury against Fullerton. Hornets in their white tops, blue bottoms, RCC in their beautiful renovated. here from Riverside, California. Stone Spartan Company look to overcome, and they're certainly capable of doing it, a 13-0 deficit here late in the first quarter. Tamon. Tiger head coach Tom Kraft in his 9th season with Riverside City College. Third play of the drive, handoff to Walker. He breaks a tackle to the 50, cuts back inside, reverses 45-40. He's got a foot race down the left sideline with a flag thrown. He is out of bounds at the Fullerton 28-yard line. It's a gain of 31, but this penalty late on the run from Malik Walker may nullify some of the yardage gained from Malik Walker, as he split carries as a reserve a year ago here at RCC, and now is a full-time starter at that tailback spot. Dunmar Fisher stepping in momentarily as well. But this rushing game was incredible a year ago. Victor Viramontes led it off, but the Tigers had a stable of tailbacks that led the way for an offense racking up almost 300 yards per game rushing. Video game numbers a year ago for the Tigers.
First down, Riverside.
The flag is waved off, and RCC is going no huddle. Tigers up on the ball at the Fullerton 27-yard line with their most promising drive of the ball game. Hornets with a 13-0 edge and 5.5 minutes to play opening quarter. Stone Smart in the pistol formation. Deep back is Dunmar Fisher, as Smart takes the snap, chest high, fires over the middle, too tall, and a late hit, and a flag is thrown off the Carey-Henley collision. The pass was intended to Antonio Mitchell on a quick slant, and Henley may have committed a 15-yard infraction. Sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee. Here's the call. Officials are talking about a potential overthrow in football.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense. Half position. First down.
The penalty winds up netting 12 yards, and the Tigers are in the red zone for the first time tonight. RCC settled for field goals and turnovers a majority of their red zone trips, and Whittier the SCFA title against Fullerton last year. Wide 2x2 RCC is at the Fullerton 14-yard line looking to punch this one in. Over the left hash with the pistol. Whistles, and the play is stopped. Penalty flag thrown. 5:12 to go first quarter. 13-0 lead for Fullerton.
Offense. Number 16. 5 yards. Still first down.
Almonte Smith, redshirt freshman from Southfield, Michigan, commits the early infraction, and that will push the Tigers back over to the 19-yard line. Or at least it should. Yes, it will. The chains haven't been reset yet. Tigers back up on the ball. It's a breakneck offense. Marshall right slot with 3 receivers. Shelton singled up left. Beldi snap off the play action. Smart is pressured and taken down back near the 26-yard line. Wrapped up by Jay Brown, the outstanding sophomore from Eastvale, California. He joins Caleb Johnson. And this Tigers offense has had their struggles in this first quarter protecting the passer. And Stone Smarts, at 6'5", 220 pounds, is a dangerous scrambler, but may have to be a pocket passer. The Tigers are faced with a second down and 23. The chains indicate third down. Second down. Whistles. Sloppy start in our home opener. Timeout Tigers and Tom Kraft. Take this moment to mention that tonight's game is presented by Chick-fil-A. As the Tigers down 13-0 late in the first quarter, they have an offense that was explosive a year ago, and it was on full display in the SCFA semifinal victory over the Ventura Pirates. A game in which multiple times Victor Viramontes racked up over 400 yards all-purpose. He switched positions after committing to Minnesota, transferred back to the RCC Tigers, and now is a force at linebacker for RCC. 4 tackles last week in the win over El Camino. And a sophomore from Norco, California. The size and the athleticism to really cause havoc in that front seven this year for that Tiger defense. From Arthur N. Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, Week 2 of college football presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling and Chick-fil-A. Single to right for the Tigers, Jamal Houston, as Riverside is backed up on now a second down at the 26-yard line off the sack against Stone Smarts. The Northern Arizona transfer will line up with the shotgun. 3 receivers left, 1 right off the play action with time. He's back, pressure from Darso, dumps it off left. Marshall makes the catch, dancing to the 20, and takes a tumble to the Hornets' 14-yard line. Brown records the waist-high tackle, and the Tigers now face 3rd and 10 back at the Hornet 14-yard line. Off the completion of Marshall, he was a go-to target last week. 5 catches, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The 6'1" receiver from Harbor City, California. Wide 2x2 Riverside on a 3rd and 10. Beldi snap, play action. Shelton flips it left. Marshall snatches it at the 10 and surges to the 5-yard line. Wrapped up by Henley, the sophomore from Memphis, as he crawled near that first down marker, but the officials put up the clutch fist, indicating a 4th and short. This will be about a half-yard, and the Tigers will go for it. Smart, the NAU transfer, takes the snap, hands to Walker, and he squirts to the 3. First down, Tigers. One of the Fullerton defenders was celebrating as if they made the stop, Caleb Johnson. And you can't blame them, as it was awfully close, but RCC appeared to have moved the chains. Yes, they did. It is a late signal, but the officials garner the fresh set of downs. 1st and goal at the Hornet 3-yard line. This possession started as the Hornets hurry up on the football on the third play of their possession. Under 3 to go first quarter, it's a 13-0 lead for the visitors from Fullerton in the FCC Hornets. 3 receivers in the set for the Hornets. Over the right hash, shotgun snap. Jensen off of play action, rolls right as he is flushed out, steps up in the pocket and breaks a tackle at the 30 before getting stacked up quickly at the 34 as Popo records the tackle again. He is an undersized safety but makes a terrific play in open space against the beefy Chris Jensen, the quarterback at 6'2", 225 pounds. Third and short with 3 receivers. Jensen barks out new protections as he walks over behind his setter and trots back out into what is a pistol formation. Tigers line up in a nickel and off the gut run over right side. Safety valve that time, the HBU transfer in Dennis Houston. Hornets face a third down. Fullerton already has converted once, but we're a paltry 2 for 11 on third down tries last week. 3rd and 3. Wide 2x2 for the Hornets. As the Montana transfer, Chris Jensen takes the low snap, back rolling right. He has time, tucks and runs, flips it short, and a wide open receiver, that being down, spins across the 50, and one of the Tigers lost his helmet as he surges to the RCC 46-yard line. Aaron Mannery, sophomore from San Jacinto, lost his helmet, but the Hornets moved the sticks on a third down conversion. They have as many third down conversions in this first quarter than all of last week against Golden West. Back to throw off the play action. Jensen is chased, and he somehow gets rid of the ball with some serious display of strength as he throws it out of bounds. He was wrapped up quickly for the Tigers by Quentin Asbury, number 92, the sophomore from Menifee, California, as he had a chance to bring him down, but Jensen somehow chucked it towards the sideline and just got enough strength on it to avoid what could have been an interception. Off substitutions for Fullerton, Downs checks out of the ball game, along with Sean Carter. Hornets line up with 3 receivers. Jensen takes the snap as running back releases, stands in, fires it out, cut, and it's dropped. Over left side to Spencer Owens, sophomore from Lakewood, California. 36 seconds to play opening quarter. Fullerton leads 13-7 and has marched from their own 20-yard line to the Tigers' 46 here from sweltering Riverside. Game time temperatures are at 97 degrees at kickoff. It has dipped slightly into the lower 90s. 3rd and 10. Fullerton has converted third down once on this drive and twice so far today. 3 receivers for the Hornets. Jensen takes the shotgun snap, hands it off to Eckford. He's got room to the 40, sweeps right, 35-30. Infante Eckford rumbles down the sideline and is pulled out by Aaron Mannery at the Tiger 12. 29-yard gash on 3rd and 10. And Fullerton is back in the red zone at the RCC 12-yard line. Tigers spell Jose Ramirez. Shotgun snap. Jensen looks, sets his feet. He has time, dances to the pocket with a flag down, and flips it short with the pass is caught in a shovel toss over right to Kadedrick Richardson, freshman from Memphis. It's a 1-yard completion, but there is a penalty flag thrown with 10 seconds to play in a fast-moving first quarter. Penalty indicated against Fullerton. Here's the call.
On the offense, number 50, 10 yards from the previous spot.
Fullerton leads 13-7. Glad you're with us. 10 seconds to play. First quarter. Nick Grass in hand. Here from Arthur and
Brings up a 1st and 20 for the Hornets.
On a snap before the end of the first quarter. With 2 with 1. Jensen takes the snap, but a flag is down. There is an indication for an offsides penalty, but the first quarter didn't expire. Right now, the Hornets face a first down and 20 from the Tiger 22-yard line. Here we go.
There is no time expired on the game clock. The first quarter is over.
First quarter is complete. Here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the first quarter of play. The Fullerton Hornets
leads Riverside 13-7. The Hornets have had very little resistance and a real backbreaker. Quick reminder, tonight's broadcast is presented by Chick-fil-A. To the Tiger 22. 97 degrees on kickoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the second quarter, want to give a big salute out his 50th year as the timekeeper here at Riverside City College. A hero, 50 years as your timekeeper, Mr. Hank Cinderella.
Expects to return to the postseason where they have been so successful over the years. In fact, last year they were so dominant as an organization, they had only one game, that being the state championship over American River, where they had a game decided by less than 14 points as they wound up going 13-0 last season. Fullerton 1st and 20 from the Tiger 22-yard line. This possession started at their own 20. 3 receivers in the formation against the Tiger nickel. Jensen tosses left. Avinger gets a downfield block. Sweeps left, cutting inside to the 20. With a flag down, he is tackled by Viramontes at the Tiger 19. Gain of 3. All right, the officials may have to ice their arms after tonight's contest is over. Fullerton has committed a majority of the penalties tonight.
Block away. 72 of the offense.
TJ Storman, number 72, is the guilty party for Fullerton on a drive very promising, including a 29-yard run from Eckford to convert a 3rd down. But Fullerton has been knocked out of field goal range here with consecutive penalties. Hornets will replay 1st down. This is a down you almost never see. 1st and 34. 1st and 32, rather. At the Tiger 34. Dennis Houston singled up left with Downs and Johnson of the ball game. Head coach Tim Burns of Fullerton, he is irate.
1st and 35 for the Hornets.
Timeout Fullerton. As we are just underway in the second quarter. And a battle between the top 2 teams in the state of California. Glad you're with us. Nick Rice on hand, Arthur at Wheelock Stadium. This game may come down to the bitter end. For a compliment of the Tigers, they play significantly better here at home. There's something about this crowd, about this environment. Who knows, maybe the wonderful cooked barbecue they have down here along the stands. They have something to do with it. 26-1 all-time in the Tigers, especially very well to start. jumped out to a 17-point lead in the a point on where Fullerton won 30-27. And in a knack for dramatics, they're doing the same yet again. They series of penalties have called out 1st and 32. Tiger 34 as we are 10 seconds into the second quarter. Houston singled up left as they go 4 wide again. Gut run, here's Moore. He gets a good block and some solid yardage here as he motors to the 19. Viramontes converges after the 15-yard scamper. Officials signaled helmet off before the play. As the Hornets' Jacob Jankowiak was the one who lost his helmet. But they will give him the run, 15-yard gain to set up second down from the Tiger 19-yard line. Bootleg right, Jensen looks across the field and he's throwing end zone. Caught by Dennis Houston. Touchdown Fullerton.
Touchdown Hornets. Pass is complete to number 13. Jensen to 13 for a touchdown.
Dennis Houston had 1 catch last week. And the 6'2 sophomore from San Antonio reels in his first touchdown of the year. And with Fullerton up by 12, they will avoid the 2-point try and bring in Corey Lewis for the PAT. The Tigers had a stout performance on defense last week, but have given up 3 consecutive touchdown drives.
The kick is up. The kick is good. With 14:31 to go in the second quarter, the Fullerton Hornets 20, the Riverside City College Tigers 7.
Touchdown connection. It's a 19-yard strike from the transfer from Montana. And with 14:31 to play in the half, Fullerton leads RCC on the road 20-7. And part of the 46 home wins in 47 tries as well for the RCC Tigers. Some of those games have been in situations such as this. Struggling starts, early holes. RCC has overcome numerous double-digit deficits on their way to another top 10 ranking in the United States. And many project this team to be amongst the Fullertons, the Venturas, and the Golden Wests of the SCFA competing for a state championship. Fullerton off to a great start, 20-7 lead with that offense rolling on all cylinders to start the ball game. And from the 35-yard line, Corey Lewis, sophomore from Hurricane, Utah, will kick off once more. He has a cannon for a leg as he has sent all 3 kickoffs so far 5 yards deep or even more inside the Tiger end zone. He runs into it again and sends it down the field. And this time it's taken at the goal line. Brought out by Marshall, right hash to the 10, springs right 20. And he hurdles a man out to the 27-yard line as he went airborne over Dennis. He has sent all 3 kickoffs so far 5 yards deep or even more inside the Tiger end zone. He runs into it again and sends it down the field. And this time it's taken at the goal line. Brought out by Marshall, right hash to the 10, springs right 20. And he hurdles a man out to the 27-yard line. A short kick by his standards. And the Tigers will now set up shop at their own 30-yard line right hash. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. RCC had 559 yards all-purpose last week in the win over El Camino. Play action Smart stands in, throws the slant, leaping catch in traffic by way of the Tiger, Tyrone Marshall. First down Tigers on a gain of 12. All right, Tyrone Marshall at all of 6'1", 185 pounds. Fearless as ever, running a quick slant, and he reeled that in inside of 3 Hornet defenders. And the Tigers have moved the chains out to the 42-yard line. RCC fresh off an 80-yard touchdown drive as Victor Viramontes took a direct snap and scored the first points for the Tigers at home this season. Early second quarter, Belladine snaps Smart. He looks deep, rolls right in the pocket. He is pressured, squirts 2 tackles, and gallops lunging ahead of the 45-yard line. There is a penalty flag off the 3-yard scamper from Stone Smart. Last week, The sophomore quarterback, 13 of 22, 230 yards and 3 touchdowns, with an additional 100 yards running. The Hornets, despite the 13-point lead.
Offense, number 54, 10 yards, still first down.
Theo Ballard, number 54, is the guilty party, but the Hornets have suffered their 3rd injury so far, or at least the 3rd time they've had to stop play with an injury timeouts. This time the Tigers training staff is getting involved. 13:48 to go in the half. Defending national champion Fullerton leads RCC 20-7. Matchup between the top 2 teams in the state of California. That includes the entire NFCA. Number 46, Tim Williams, freshman from Miami, will be escorted off the field, with numerous Fullerton staff helping him to the sideline. Tigers are huddling up, and for Tom Kraft, he was an offensive innovator at San Diego State. In fact, during his rookie season at head coach, and many people in their first year are trying to figure out some of the nuances of the organization and of the offense. He set a San Diego State record for the most yards amassed in his first year with the Aztecs. A successful campaign with SDSU, and arguably an even better campaign now in 9 years with the RCC Tigers. Riverside down 13 here, early seconds. Smart looks, he's hit as he throws. A spiraling pass is caught by number 26. That is Eric Buchanan. Terrific catch along the right sideline as he gains 10 out to the 42. Freshman from Riverside, California, his first touch of the year. And Buchanan did it, leaping in the air with a defender draped all over him, that being Jay Brown. Number 23, wide 2x2 right hash. Smart in an empty formation. 5 eligibles. Takes the ball, nice snap. Fires the slant. Buchanan's got it again.
Pass is caught by number 26, Eric Buchanan. First down.
Tigers started this possession at their own 30, going left to right. They've advanced to the Fullerton 45, led by their star transfer from NAU and quarterback Stone Smarts. 2 minutes in second quarter. Fullerton in shambles, will walk up late into a nickel defense. And now they set up against the wide 2x2. Hornets threatening blitz. They'll bring in 6 stunts defensively. Smart steps up, and he is wrapped up for a loss as Johnson joins Gazibwe, along with number 58 for Fullerton, Andrew Glover, sophomore from Magnolia, Texas, on the sack for Fullerton with 12:40 left to go in the half. RCC with a 2-yard loss on the sack. Stone Smart, he's an athletic quarterback with 7 yards of carry last week. Win over El Camino, and he was known as a dual threat during his 2 years at Northern Arizona.
Offside, numerous defensive players, 5 yards, still second down.
No, the official isn't lying, as the Hornets were anxious to get after the quarterback. Fullerton, to my knowledge, has recorded 4 sacks so far. But the Hornets have also led the battle in penalties so far. They have committed, to my knowledge, 7 so far. It has been a mistake-filled performance for both teams in a home opener, as it's a free play. Smart goes to the end zone for Marshall and overthrows the sophomore, but this should be a 5-yard boost for RCC. The coverage from sophomore Kerry Henley, the corner from Memphis.
99 on the defense.
Omar Gonzalez.
5 yards, still second down.
Second and shorts. Glad you're with us here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside. Smart and the Tigers are up on the ball at the 36-yard line. A gut run to Fisher. He squirts over a tackle and is down to the 33, or one over left guard for 3 yards, as Hansen records the tackle along with Joey Noble. Tigers fans are familiar with Joey Noble, who was a force on that defensive line last year in Whittier. Last season, video game numbers for the sophomore from Los Alamitos: 39 tackles, 15 for loss, and 10.5 sacks. And he is back to man that defensive front at D end. Wide 2x2, Hornets bring the blitz. Smart is back. He fires over the middle, and the pass is incomplete. Henley hit the receiver on a quick slant. Quavon Beckford late. There's no flag thrown for pass interference. Second and 10. And Beckford is spelled. Marshall, Smith, Mitchell, and also Marshall are the four receivers in a wide 2x2 against the Fullerton dime defense. Smart, 59% completions last week, and he has done a good job picking apart this Fullerton secondary so far tonight. 11:30 to go in the half. Tigers down 13. Four-man rush. Smart, a designed run. He bounces it out right, gets a good block, and is walloped at the 32. As Fro was involved in the tackle, while Stone Smart has taken a beating so far tonight against an outstanding defense and the Fullerton Hornets. But it should be noted the Tigers are nearing the yardage gained the entire contest last year on the ground against Fullerton, so they have done a significantly better job running the ball in this game than the one against Fullerton in Whittier last year. Four receivers on 3rd and 8. Hornets threatening blitz. They'll bring in 7 and the safety, and Smart is nailed. Kerry Henley came in on a safety blitz, and Smart didn't see him. It's a loss of 5. The Tigers with a promising possession there from their own 30 to the Fullerton 33. But RCC is forced to bring out John Garibay, sophomore from Riverdale, California, as Riverside, for the first time this year at home, will bring out the punt units. John Garibay retreats out to around the midfield stripe. Sophomore from Riverdale, California. He led the league in punting last year. Flag has been thrown. Delay of game on RCC, but this may give Garibay more room to Coffin Corner kick this punt. With 10:24 to go in the half, 20-7 lead for Fullerton. RCC scored late first quarter on a touchdown scramble from Victor Viramontes. Hornets countered with a touchdown to Dennis Houston. Garibay sends away a towering punt. End over end to the 10. And the fair catch is made at the 7-yard line by Robert Downs. Late penalty flag has been thrown. This has been a physical football game here from Riverside, California. That is a Coffin Corner kick, though, for John Garibay. This is a school, if there is anything that the Tigers recruit well in, it is kicker.
Holding on the receiving team, number 9, half the distance to the goal, first down.
As the Tigers graduated a kicker that wound up playing for Fresno State for a couple years as well. And John Garibay has the makings of another outstanding Division I career, sophomore from Riverdale, California. Outstanding punt to flip the field for Fullerton, and off a penalty, the Hornets will take over at their own 4-yard line. 10:19 to play opening half. In a game, the Hornets have had an outstanding start on offense, a unit that racked up 54 points per game last year. That may end up going in the record books, even in the far future, as the greatest season for Fullerton offensively they've ever had. An incredible year for the Hornets. In the end zone, Jansen feeds to Eckford. He gets out of the goal line and smothered with the 3. So the inside hand for the veteran of Fontaine. He was mainly an afterthought in the backfield last year, but he already, in just a game and a half,
brings up a 2nd and 11 for the Hornets.
So he has done a much better job given the opportunities. He's made the most of it. Tigers late to get substitutions on. As Fullerton lines up with an I formation, deep back is Eckford on a 2nd and long. Inside run, and he is smothered at the 5.
Oh, figured he might have got back to the original line of scrimmage.
Tigers in there. As Fullerton faces
on the tackle, number 97 for Riverside. Darryl Prince on the stop. Brings up a 3rd and 9 for the Hornets.
Fullerton had 4 different quarterbacks play at least a couple snaps in the ball game against Golden West last week in Huntington Beach. High formation, a quick handoff yet again, and this time McGee takes the run.
I'll take it up the middle once again for little or no gain. That'll bring up a 4th and 9 for the Hornets.
For the first time in the ball game, forces a 3
on the top, number 44.
There we go.
Duke.
A year ago, allowing just 25 points a game.
At 97.
Fullerton leads 20
Hold
to
on,
7.
stop at Riverside.
Corey Lewis. He had a dreadful outing against Golden West last week, as he netted just 26 yards per punt. His heels are at the back line, and with his left leg sends it away high, but fairly short. Fair catch signaled. Marshall may have touched the ball as he ran into the short punts, and Fullerton takes over at the 48-yard line. Tyrone Marshall ran about 15 yards from his spot to retrieve it, ironically because the punt was left leg, sends it away high, but fairly short. Fair catch signaled. Marshall may have touched the ball as he ran into the short punts, and for the Tigers goes for naught.
Off a Riverside player. The ball was recovered by Fullerton, where it'll be 1st and 10. Hornets.
Hornets are at the 49-yard line, in fact. Tough pill to swallow for Riverside, a team that played very well last year on defense, especially against the pass. But up by 13, Fullerton may rely on the ground game to close out this first half. 8:17 to play second quarter. Fullerton is at their own 49-yard line as Chris Jensen has returned. The Montana transfer at quarterback alongside Effort takes the snap, looks left, pumps. He's in trouble, and Jensen is sacked. Nicholas Figueroa with his first sack of his career. The sophomore from San Bernardino. Loss of 9. The Tigers led the league in quarterback sacks last year with 36. It took them about 23 minutes, but they get there on the quarterback, Gress Jensen. An outstanding career for Gress Jensen, where he was involved in the Stats FCS Jerry Rice Award given to the National Freshman of the Year as a member of the Montana Grizzlies. He threw for 2,500 yards and 20 touchdowns last year for them. Full start against Fullerton. So the Hornets have an outstanding quarterback, and he has played well to start. One passing score. The touchdown toss to Dennis Houston. But the Hornets remain up by 13 and are backed up again by way of penalties. Sack from Figueroa, false start on Fullerton. Hornets are faced with a second and 24. We're on 35-yard line. 3 receivers in the set. Tigers with a base 3-4. Pistol snap, a speed option toss. Eckford juggles and grabs it. He is spun down, then walloped by French at the 39-yard line. A pickup of 4 that time, sweeping right, Infante Eckford. The Tigers are up against a running back that had a field day last week over Golden West, and they have kept him in check with the exception of 1 third-down conversion on a 29-yard run. Fullerton last year led the state in scoring and led the state in yards, so you know that they are going to have some success, but the Hornets are also a team off the 3 and out, sputtering here and face a 3rd down and long. 3rd and make it 21 yards. 3 receivers. He takes the belt, snap, back, throws an outcut left, nearly intercepted. Sean North has got it at the 50 and is wrapped up by Mannery at the Tiger 46. Sean North, sophomore, transferred from Western New Mexico, reels it in, but the Hornets are within distance for a makeable 4th down conversion here. It's a 4th and 5. Hornets were 1 for 4 on 4th downs last week. 3 receivers, North left slot, and Eckford will line up in the pistol alongside Gress Jensen. Kededrick Richardson and Markel Raymond are the other 2 receivers. As Jensen gets the call for the sideline with the play clock down to 5, it's stripping to 4, to 3. Tigers with a 4-man front are threatening blitz, but a timeout is first called by Fullerton. That is their second of the opening half. And with 5:53 to play opening half, glad you're with us, Nick Rice in hand, here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, California. We would like to take this quick stoppage to mention that tonight's game is presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling, along with the proud folks of Chick-fil-A. Last year with 9 consecutive wins. They lost 2 of their final 3 games and are in danger of losing 3 of the 5 following that 9-0 start last year as they won the opener over El Camino. But here they are down 20-7 to Fullerton. The Hornets, ironically, this is a sigh of relief. They will avoid the 4th down try and bring out the punt units. Number 25, Xavier Steele, checks in the ballgame late for the Hornets with the play clock at 20. 5:53 to go, second quarter. Hornets, they may have a delay of game here. It has been a game riddled with penalties for the visitors from Fullerton. At the 39-yard line, Lewis has 6 seconds to snap it. He grabs it with 4. Chest-high snap, sends it away on his left leg, wobbling punt. It is yet again short. It bounces at the 20 and is down at the 16-yard line by Levi Adams, freshman from Portland. That leaves 5:45 to go opening half. The Tigers have a good shot of getting back in the ballgame with a solid and lengthy possession here. It should be noted Fullerton will receive the ball to begin the third quarter. Make sure to stick around here from RCCFootball.net and all of our services, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling and Chick-fil-A. The halftime report here from Riverside is coming up at the conclusion of the second quarter, as we will break down scores from around the conference, along with a special on RCC Tigers in Division I football. Stretch run right. Here's Walker, cuts inside of the 20, bounces right side, and is spilled by Steele at the 30-yard line. A 15-yard gash from Malik Walker. First down, Tigers.
With the carry for the Tigers. Tigers, first down, Tigers.
Wide 2x2 Riverside, who's back on the ball quickly with a no huddle at the 31-yard line. And now Smart changes the play. Sophomore from Loomis, California. He was born and raised in Antelope, and now at Riverside he has made a staple in that quarterback depth chart. He flips it short on a quick hitch route to Marshall, and he dances his way past Steele out to the 36-yard line before getting leveled by Massad, sophomore from Cheeto Hills. Glad you're with us. Riverside off to a slow start on offense, trailed 13-0, but scored on an 80-yard touchdown drive with Victor Viramontes capping it off from 3 yards away. The All-State quarterback who played linebacker this year, but also a bit of quarterback on that drive. Fullerton scored on the next possession, a Jensen to Houston touchdown connection. Play action Smart, he fires a slant, and back shoulder Marshall nearly made a one-hand catch in front of Kerry Henley. And that sets up a 3rd down and 5. As the Tigers will need the 41-yard line. Fullerton's defense was stout on 3rd down defense a year ago, yielding just under 30%. Pistol set on a 3rd and 5. Fullerton jumped into the neutral zone. That should be a neutral zone infraction again. Richard Yukihiro may have been the one who jumped early. Here's the call with 4:33 to go in the half. Fullerton clinging to a 20-7 lead.
Offside defense, 5 yards, the 5-yard penalty. First down.
By default, RCC moves the chains. Tigers were incredible on 3rd down, 10 of 19 last week against El Camino. Now they convert without even running a snap. Wide 2x2 at the 40-yard line. False start Tigers.
Right of the snap. False start. 73 of the offense, 5 yards.
Number 73, Brandon Hendricks, was the one who jumped early. First and 15, RCC at their own 36-yard line with 4:18 to go in the half. Hornets lead 20-7. Fullerton has brought the blitz a majority of the ball game, and here they go, six-man rush, flips it right. Marshall makes the catch. He's racing down the field to the 50 and takes a tumble to the Hornets 45. It's a completion of 19 yards of the dangerous Tyrone Marshall. Well, he is an absolute star, sophomore from Harbor City. He played mainly kickoff return last year for the Tigers. And Tyrone Marshall with 145 yards last year. He has almost that much just in the first half. Deep drop smart, throws a quick hitch to the leaping Stovall. He's got it to the 39 of Fullerton with a flag down. And the Hornets defensive front as Caleb Johnson joins Xavier Steele on that tackle off the 6-yard gain. Holding against the Tigers, that is the call. Melqui Stovall, receiver for RCC. A very entertaining start to his career as we see. Now that hold will back up the Tigers 10 yards. Melqui Stovall, 2016, had an outstanding campaign at Cal. 42 catches, 415 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Then transferred in a strange move to Arizona Western before moving finally to Riverside City College in a span of a couple months. Very entertaining stints. Low snap, Stovall releases. Smart is back, dances left of the pocket, pumps, tucks it and runs, cutting inside across the line, and is stripped up with a 47-yard line. Physical contest here from Arthur Ed Wheelock Stadium in Riverside. Tigers faced with a 3rd and 18, and the Hornets will bring out one of their defenders who is injured, Peter Gazibwe, sophomore from Colchester, Connecticut. 3:16 left to go here in the first half. Now down to 3:10, 3:09. Tigers taking their time. This would be a critical scoring possession if they're able to chew up the final minutes of this half. 3 receivers. Hornets threaten blitz. They'll bring in 6. All right, this has the lookings of a preseason game. Another penalty. Nick Rice on hand here from Riverside, California.
Prior to the snap, Smith infraction on the center. 5 yards. Remains 2nd down.
Number 54, Theo Boulard, was the one who jumped. Ironically, it's the center was the one who got a bit antsy. 2nd down for the Tigers. And now mark it 23. Beldine snap to Smart. Back with a 3-step drop. Fires a seam route. Stovall makes the catch and gets leveled to the 42-yard line by Kerry Henley, who stepped in. But Stovall.
Smart pass, I believe it's between Stovall.
Gains 15 yards. And that sets up a 3rd and 7.
On the stop, number 7 for Fullerton. Kerry Henley.
Fullerton had their struggles defending the pass last year. Bottom 10 in the state in pass defense, but with those huge leads, you had to expect that they would get a majority of the best efforts from across the country, as they did a year ago in the national championship victory. Right 2x2 on a 3rd down and 7. Hornets a rush of 5. Smart looks deep, unloads to a wide open Houston. He's got it at the 10 and is tripped up at the 6. Jamal Houston with his first catch of the season, a transfer from Colorado State. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Tigers wide 2x2, they're up on the ball. It's a quick run to Walker, and he is spilled by Gazibwe, but manages to plunge ahead to the 5-yard line. And the Tigers may want to consider chewing some clock here, as they would look to avoid a 2-minute chance for Fullerton. Hornets have 1 timeout, Tigers with 2. 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line right hash. With a wide 2x2, it's a play action. Smart sneaks out right. The quarterback is close to the end zone and is spilled by Headley at the 2-yard line. That'll set up 3rd and goal at the 2. The Tigers were 10 for 19 on 3rd down last week and were 3rd in the conference, 12th in the state as well at 41% last year. 3rd and 2. Marshall along with Stovall, the two receivers in the slots. It's a gut one to Walker, and he spins into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. With 1:04 to go in the half, RCC has trimmed the lead back to 7. And the extra point is coming from John Garibay. It's a very important PAT as we remain one possession, and this would cut it to 6. The Tiger long snapper Eric Matutz will put it back, and the kick off a good hold splits the uprights. And with 1:04 to go in the half, Fullerton leads 20-14. An incredible effort throughout this first half by a resilient Stone Smarts. And on that third down, he hung in the pocket and delivered an absolute strike to Melquise Stovall, the redshirt sophomore from Lancaster, California. He had an outstanding performance last week in the win over El Camino and is off to a terrific start tonight against the struggling Hornets secondary. Fullerton does have 1:04 to play in this first half, plus a timeout. So this kickoff is critical from John Garibay, sophomore from Riverside, California. Fullerton jumped out to a 13-0 lead. Just as they did last week, they allowed their opponent to get back in the ballgame. Presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling and Chick-fil-A. The halftime report is coming up after the conclusion of this second quarter. John Garibay tees up the ball at the 35-yard line. Coming up at that half, we'll talk about scores from around the National Southern Conference along with implications of tonight's game and a special about the RCC Tigers in the NCAA and also in the NFL. Garibay runs into it from 8 yards away, swings his right leg in a line drive kickoff, bouncing to the 10, taken on a hop at the 2-yard line. Hornets will return. Here's Jawan Johnson to the 30. He's down the right sideline and motors out of bounds near the 40. A terrific return from the speedster and Jawan Johnson, sophomore from Norwich, Connecticut. And Fullerton, after the return that chewed up 8 seconds, they will set up shop at the 40-yard line of the Hornets. Fullerton is about 30 yards away from field goal range from Corey Lewis. He is perfect on field goal attempts this year with a long of 37, so they are 40 yards away from his season long. But in high school, he's about 25 yards away from his overall career long. Wide 2x2 high snap Jensen. Here's a gut run, this time up the middle to Johnson, and he is stacked up with the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 4 that time, and the clock continues to run. 43 seconds to go in the half. Interesting decision for the Hornets to run. They were maybe thinking about getting the Tigers off guard. RCC with lax coverage here. Jensen is back with time, shoots it deep down the field into coverage, and it's overthrown. And Aaron Mannery with terrific coverage that side on a fly route to Sean Carter. There is a penalty flag thrown with 29 seconds remaining in the half. Nick Rice on hand here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium. Here's the call.
Roughing the passer, defense, number 35, 15 yards.
Jose Ramirez. He transferred from Arizona, a highly touted career in the Pac-12 as a freshman from Auburndale, Florida. And after 2 quick snaps, Fullerton has advanced the ball to the Tiger 41-yard line. They're still about 11 yards away from the season long of Corey Lewis. Jensen takes the snap, running back releases, back 5 steps, flips it short, and it's dropped. Jarred loose quickly by the sophomore linebacker Devin Charles. That leaves 23 seconds to go in the half. Fullerton does have 1 timeout remaining in their back pockets. Hornets led 13-0 late the first quarter, but Vermont scored a rushing touchdown and a 2-yard TD scamper from Malik Walker, his second of the season, trimmed the lead to 6. It's 20-14 Fullerton. From the 41 of the Tigers and 23 seconds to go in the half. Jensen, the Montana transfer, back 7 steps, chucks it down the field, and is caught by the leaping Carter, who runs out of bounds at the 20-yard line. The redshirt sophomore, Sean Carter, was wide open on an outcut. And now the Hornets are near the red zone. Tigers do not want to give up a touchdown here. This possession started less than a minute ago.
First down, Hornets.
Jensen runs up on the ball. 17 seconds to go in the half. down to 16, 15. And here is a gut run, and he gains a couple that time. Mitchell Agood records the tackle. 14 seconds to go in the half, and a timeout is called.
Timeout of the half.
The Hornets, it should be noted, will receive to begin the third quarter, as Fullerton has an incredible record on the line. They have won 21 consecutive games dating back to October against Saddleback in 2016. Two national powerhouses filled with players from out of the state and out of the country. In fact, just about half of both rosters reside from the state of California. As they come together, both teams, led by both veteran head coaches, receiving some of the best crop of talent in all of America. Here between these two rosters, ranked number 1 and number 2 in the States, and they have had an outstanding battle. Fullerton began red hot on offense, scoring on their first 3 possessions, all with touchdowns. But since that moment, the offense has stalled. Multiple punts from Corey Lewis. And now the Hornets, with 14 seconds to go in the half, they are going for it out of timeouts. Second and short from the Tiger 12 left hash. With 4 receivers, Jensen takes the snap, bootleg right. He's looking end zone, throws down the field, and with a flag down, it's deflected and incomplete. Deshaun Neal stepped in quickly and knocked it away from Sean Carter. That leaves 9 seconds to go in the half. Here's the call.
Holding offense, number 78, 10 yards from the previous spot, second down.
Number 78, Torrance Evans, was the guilty party for Fullerton, and that pushes them to the brink of field goal range. Corey Lewis has a season-long last week against Golden West of 37 yards. Jensen will put it down as from here this will be a new season high of 40 yards away for the kicker, a sophomore from Hurricane, Utah, in Corey Lewis. Very little wind that's coming slightly from the west. Jensen will put it down, and Bob Lee Conklin will snap it. It's on the way. It has the distance, and the kick is no good. He hooked it to the left. And the Tigers breathe a sigh of relief. After 3 consecutive touchdown drives for the Hornets, Fullerton comes up empty yet again. And the Tigers have 5 seconds left before the half. And a chance to potentially, as they will have the ball at the 30-yard line, no, they'll make it the 22. Got to be honest, I'm not too sure as to why the ball is placed there. But nevertheless, Tigers have one more crack at it with 5 seconds left and 2 timeouts. 78 yards away from a touchdown. This probably is the final snap, barring a penalty of the half. Smart in the pistol, takes the snap, hands it inside to Dunmar Fisher, and he bounces off several tackles, and down he goes. That will conclude the first half. 2 quarters complete. What a game so far.
The Riverside City College Tigers 14, and it's halftime in Riverside.
As we have reached halftime here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, 2 quarters complete. The Tigers overcome an early wave from Fullerton after being down 13 early second quarter. They crawled to within 6 at the end of the first half. Fullerton 20, Riverside 14. Back in a few moments to break down the first half numbers, statistics, and notables from around this ball game of the National Southern Conference, along with a special look at RCC Tigers in Division I football and across the landscape of the National Football League. A reminder, 2 quarters complete. It's Fullerton 20 and Riverside 14. Back in a few moments.
In April, the Rally Cat dance team traveled to Daytona Beach, Florida to attend the National College Championship.
I don't know how you do it.
Placed second in the nation in jazz and team dance.
A lot of practice, man.
All around the country.
A lot of practice.
Your child can cheer alongside the RCC Spirit team in a football game this season.
Just like how a football team every day, I do it every day.
On October
Do you really?
27th.
Yeah,
Visit our webpage at rccathletics.com to register. Now, show your school spirit and cheer along with us for another exciting season of Tiger football.
Yeah.
Good. No, they were all out of water. If you want, I can get you another one.
I haven't even used this one yet.
Okay, you can have the rest of my water.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
We were at 188.
Yo, 188 watchers, viewers.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
It was our first time too doing it, so
Yeah.
No advertising or no publicity?
barely any. Nico said he was like, I'm not sure if it's gonna go good, so I won't advertise it as much. But now,
Good. So is it just available on the team's website or?
it's on YouTube. So you just log into YouTube, go to RCC Athletics, and it comes up.
Perfect. Yeah, that's actually better.
Yeah.
because Other people searching it. To be honest, I'm surprised it's as close as it is. Fullerton looks much better than RCC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they play close to the best at home.
What's that?
They play close to the best at home.
Yeah.
They have never lost in the regular season at home in 9 years.
I
So
don't know. I'm thinking tonight might be the night. But hopefully not.
Don't you say that.
Hopefully not.
Don't you dare say that.
There's like a 20-second delay though from this to YouTube.
Really?
That's the only thing, but
That's a lot of radio. Like when you hear radio streams of a lot of different stuff, even the professionals, like the NFL, it's a pretty significant delay. Like some of them are a couple minutes.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I was listening to the Thursday night game with Atlanta, and it'd say like there's a minute left in the ball game, and the game was over. You know what I mean? It's like what?
Jeez.
So, you know how long a game lasts?
Yeah.
A minute lasts in the fourth quarter. But
Got a band coming in.
Now taking the field, we are pleased to present one of the truly elite college marching bands in the country. They have performed all over Europe, Canada, Japan, Australia, and throughout the United States. They have appeared in virtually every major pageantry event, including the Bands of America Grand National Championships, Tournament of Roses Parade, New Year's Day Parade in London, Rome, and Paris. And this fall will make their third appearance at the famous Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. They have entertained at Disney theme parks in Anaheim, Orlando, Tokyo, and Paris. You've seen them in nearly 30 television shows like The Office, Lip Sync Battle, The Bachelorette, and coming soon, an episode of Modern Family. These college performers have filmed over 20 motion pictures, including the American Pie films, Princess Diaries 2, and last fall appeared with stars Steve Carell and Emma Stone in Battle of the Sexes. They've also appeared in numerous music videos alongside artists like Travis Barker, System of a Down, and even Weird Al.
you heard it here first. Magnolia Heating and Cooling, a Chick-fil-A halftime report. Before we break down the numbers and all of us going on around the National Southern Conference, let's take a look at the RCC Marching Tigers, a nationally recognized program slated number 6 in the Division II NCAA ranks, the only junior college ranked among the elites in marching bands in America. Annually, it is an outstanding organization. Here are the Marching Tigers. Back in a few with our halftime scores and numbers from around the National Southern Conference.
It's whatever he's doing.
Oh, it is?
It's his audio. Everything's right here. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Is it, this, shouldn't I? It should be fine. Maybe that'll make more sense. No, I think they're also getting audio from this hub, so they should go.
And now, please welcome back to the field the RCC cheer team and Rally Cat dancers as we close our show tonight with Tiger Pride. Here we go, it's the RCC fight song.
Great,
Ladies
thank
and
you.
gentlemen, your RCC Marching Tigers.
Welcome back, Magnolia Heating and Cooling and Chick-fil-A halftime report. Nick Rice and Han, glad you're with us for what has been a thrilling football game tonight between two outstanding programs and class organizations that have had a model of consistency and success across the SCFA and the country. We're at the half between the number 1 and the number 2 team in the state of California in Fullerton and Riverside. The Hornets 20 and the Tigers 14. Glad you're with us. So the National Southern Conference is the new league in which Riverside is a part of, and it should be mentioned, by the way, halftime statistics are coming up in just a second. I have it right here, but first, the thing I wanted to mention, Southwestern and RCC, last week of the National Southern League, RCC flew out of Toledo, and Southwestern Southern California. Golden West lost the opener to Fullerton. Grossmont blew out by Long Beach. Orange Coast was sniped last second in a home loss to Ventura, and Saddleback fell short 18-6 at home against Kane. So RCC with a win can maintain their grapple up top in this National Southern Conference. Southwestern, the only undefeated team, is at Palomar right now with that 6 p.m. kickoff. But after week 1 in the Triple C what about the National Southern Conference? How do they fare amongst the other teams which they will meet in the National Southern League next month? And the top-rated team in this division is number 13, Saddleback. They dropped from 9 and lost to Cambridge. So considering the way they performed, a 19-6 defeat to Cambridge, Saddleback may be, and that is a home game to conclude the regular season for Riverside. Saddleback may be an opponent that would have to turn it around, and certainly may have its struggles in the early stages of the season with the Gauchos. The next ranked team in the National Southern League is Southwestern, followed by El Camino, and honorable mentions in this division go to Northwest and Orange Coast. Rosemont is on the list as they're ranked last in this National Southern Conference. Certainly, the Griffins, having knocked off RCC a couple years ago, they do have the ability in order to play close to the vest against the RCC Tigers. We're at the half. Glad you're with us. Magnolia Heating and Cooling halftime report at Price at Hand here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, California. Before we look at the stats, a quick cliffhanger. It's a special edition of RCC Tigers at the next level. Let's take a look at what some of the greats from the past, how they have performed and what they have done in Division I football and also the NFL. It should be noted that Riverside City College has transferred 46 football players to 4U schools over just the past 2 seasons. It's an unprecedented mark. And that remains really the staple of head coach Tom Craft's coaching success. He has the wins as the winningest coach in school history. He has the SCFA championships and the conference championship appearances, what have you. But what makes him an incredible coach, and having met him numerous times, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is, where are my kids going after they're done playing here? And a job well done for Tom Craft. Tonight, let's look at the top 5 performances from RCC Tigers across the country from this past weekend. Playing safety for RCC, Kalani Smith graduated last year. He is now married with UTEP, where he had 8 tackles and a deflection last week against Northern Arizona. Number 4, halfback Seth Acta, graduating last year, was integral in Davenport College's 44-7 win over Robert Morris. 9 carries, 36 yards, and a touchdown. RCC Tigers at the next level. Number 3 is the star linebacker, graduated in 2016. UTEP's A.J. Hotchkiss. He was everywhere for the Miners last week. 13 tackles, 1 for loss against Northern Arizona. Number 2, linebacker Shiloh Pritchard of Dixie State. He was their best player in the rope opener at Colorado State Pueblo, recording 7 tackles, 2 for loss, a half sack, a forced fumble, and an interception, a real mouthful. And also number 1, without any question, cornerback J.C. Jackson, who, graduating a couple years ago, made the 53-man roster of the New England Patriots after 2 strong years, starting every game at Maryland, 40 tackles and 3 interceptions last year. J.C. Jackson is in the conversation. Patriots will play tomorrow night at Houston, by the way, of potentially being a rotational piece off the bat as a rookie for New England at corner this coming fall. Other notable mentions for Tigers that made big impacts: Dominique Maiden, Icy Halani, El Toro Allen, Zach Cutcliffe, Nick Underwood, and Michael Taylor. RCC has been a powerhouse not only in winning in the SCFA, but also moving players to Division I football. Fullerton leads 20-14 at the half as we are set to begin the 3rd quarter. Riverside had a slight edge in first downs. The Hornets were penalized 10 times for 89 yards. And they look to avoid those miscues, as that will conclude the Magnolia Heating and Cooling halftime reports. And also the halftime report is presented by Chick-fil-A. We are set to begin the 3rd quarter. John Garibay, sophomore from Riverdale, California, tees up the ball and is ready to send it away. Sophomore from Riverdale, and deep to receive yet again for Fullerton is the dangerous Joanne Johnson. A towering kickoff taken end over end and will be fielded, juggled, and taken out of the end zone from Anthony Foster. Springs right to the 10, cuts inside, and is spilled at the 24 by Kobe Fitzgerald. Gress Jensen, the Montana transfer at quarterback for Fullerton, 10 of 14 in the first half for 138 yards and a touchdown, but was sacked once. The Tigers are looking to do a significantly better job of pressuring the quarterback in this second half. As for Riverside, the defense was led by Nicholas Figueroa, who recorded the sack, 2 for loss in tackles total, and 3 of them combined. So this Tigers defense put to the test here in the second half, and Riverside responded. They allowed 3 consecutive scoring drives to start the ball game, and none since. 3 receivers, Hornets go to the air, led by Jensen. He shoots it over the middle. Carter makes the catch. They had us walloped by Wilson at the 45. A completion of 20 off the bat from Jensen over to Carter. And Fullerton's up on the ball quickly. Jensen has thrown for over 150 yards. That is near his number from a week ago in the win over Golden West. 3 receivers, the belt eye snap. Jensen looks left, chucks an out, cut left. Green makes the catch, but gets nailed as he hopped up in the air. And Aaron Mannery laid the collision off the 9-yard gain to Xavier Green as he records his first catch of the ball game. Fullerton had 11 first downs to begin the first half, yet really sputtered down the stretch of that second quarter. They were held scoreless in the final 14 and a half minutes of the opening half. Inside run to Foster, and he crawls over left guard for 3. As we have played 60 seconds of this second half, Fullerton up 20-14 has moved the ball from their own 25 out to the Tiger 43-yard line. And the leading tote caller for Fullerton was Devin Quiros, 4 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. 4 receivers in the set for the Hornets at the 43-yard line as Jensen looks and flips it to his leaking running back. There's more to the 40, and he dances ahead to the 34-yard line with the penalty flag tackled by Deshaun Beal, freshman from Hermiston, Oregon, as that will stop the early momentum for the Hornets. Terrific drive so far for Fullerton. The Hornets with 260 yards all-purpose in that first half. They outgained the Tigers in the second half against RCC tonight. Minute and a half in, here third quarter. Fullerton with the ball. They lead 20-14 going left to right. Jensen with a back next to him. He's in a block, a deep drop. He fires a quick in cut, and it's nearly intercepted as the pass sailed over Houston and was knocked away by Eric Wilson, who transferred from Fresno State before last year and led the league in deflection with 8 last season and has now 3 in the early stages of 2018. Tigers back on the road for 2 straight following this contest tonight. RCC is up the road against the Wolverines of San Bernardino Valley next Saturday. Kickoff 6 p.m. Shotgun snap. Jensen feeds it on a gut run, and Foster smoked quickly. Taken down right away for the Tigers by Caleb Fitzgerald. The Hornets stall in large part to a holding penalty, and Fullerton will bring out the punt units for just the 3rd time in the ballgame. Lewis an average of 36 yards per boot along the 43. His short punt wound up being muffed by Tyrone Marshall as it just bounced off his leg and wound up leading to a recovery for the Hornets, but it was one of many tries for Fullerton down the stretch that wound up going scoreless, as the Hornets have not put points on the board in the last quarter and a half. Sky-high punt for Lewis as Marshall will let it go. It bounces into the end zone. Crafty play from the veteran Tyrone Marshall, who faked a fair catch and let the ball bounce over his head. The Hornets didn't see where it landed. They had a chance to doubt it inside the 5. Instead, the Tigers will take over at the 20. Those are the type of plays that do not get registered in the stat book, but wind up making a huge impact in the result of the ball game. Riverside takes over, led by Northern Arizona transfer Stone Smart. First half numbers, he was 9 of 12, 128 yards passing, and also was with 12 carries, had a long of 9, but really struggled in pass protection to avoid the sack. Stretch run right to Walker, and he bounces off a tackler before getting wrapped up with a 25 by the waist. A 5-yard stretch run right to Malik Walker. He has 9 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown so far. Incredible effort from Walker. Averaging 8 yards per run is the sophomore from Corona. Three receivers on a second and short. Tigers go back on the ground. Here's Walker again on an inside run, and he crawls to the 29, a gain of 4. RCC, despite trailing on the scoreboard, led the battle in time of possession as they had 74 yards rushing in the first half, and the Tigers may have a similar game plan in this third quarter. It appears so far. Inside run Walker, and he is stacked up with a 29-yard line. As he tried his best to return to the line, he may have lost about 2 feet. The Tigers, off the punt from Lewis, go 3 and outs. RCC will bring out the special teams group as we have played 3.5 minutes of this third quarter. John Garibay, his 4th punt try of the ball game. An average of 37 yards a boot so far in this game and this season. Sophomore from Rubidoux, California, their kickoff man, their place kicker, and their punter. He stands back at the 15-yard line. The dangerous Robert Downs stands deep, line drive end over end, wobbling inside the 30, and it bounces along the sideline and careens with the 23. A good punt from John Garibay as it sails ahead. That is a punt of 44 yards, which is a game high and near a season high for Garibay. No return, and Fullerton takes over. The ball will be placed at the 24-yard line. 4 minutes gone by here, third quarter. Fullerton holding on to a 20-14 lead. Hornets jumped out to a huge lead with a Dennis Houston touchdown catch. It was 20-7 early second quarter, but RCC hung in tough on defense. Hornets had 4 consecutive drives with either a punt or a missed field goal, and that allowed RCC to get back to the ball game. Fullerton back on the field at their own 25-yard line with an empty. Jensen throws a tunnel screen, nearly intercepted, but it's caught by Johnson. He races down the sideline, slipped the tackle to Charles, and is tripped up near the 40 by Christian Swift. RCC's corner from Compton, a former 3-star with 3 offers from Utah State, New Mexico, and Arizona. He is a highly touted recruit, and he makes the stop after a gain of 23 yards. Tigers late to get on substitutions. Jensen throws an out cut left that's dropped by Houston. Incomplete. The Houston Baptist transferred 2 catches, 26 yards and a touchdown in the first half. As we are winding down, just underway second half, the Hornets on what is another promising drive. Fullerton is at their own 48-yard line left hash. Third play of this possession, as the Hornets will go with a sweeping run to Quiros, and down he goes in the backfield. Tigers saw it coming. Quiros is drilled right away by Zachariah Hollifield, as he made a terrific play chasing from the backside on a stretch run over right. And now the Tigers, down by 6, have forced a 3rd down and 16. An incredible effort from the Riverside defense since their sluggish starts, as the Hornets are in danger of faltering on 3rd down yet again. Wide 2 by 2. Here's Jensen with Quiros releasing. He pumps, bootleg right, dumps it off to Downs. He slipped a tackle at the 50, cuts outside, and is wrapped up with a 44-yard line and thrown down by the chest. Christian Swint makes the tackle. It is a completion of 13 yards to Robert Downs. The Hornets are faced with a 4th and shorts. Fullerton converted their only 4th down try earlier in the ball game. They are 2 for 5 this year. Tigers threatening blitz. Fullerton will go for it. 4th and 2 from the Tigers' 44-yard line. Wide 2 by 2 set with over the right hash Jensen. The quarterback calls signals and will back out into the shotgun. Tight motion for Robert Downs. Speed option right. He keeps, gets by 1, and Viramontes makes the tackle. The Tigers turn over Fullerton on 4th down. Or at least it appeared. This will be very close, and the officials want a measurements. It appeared that he was stopped with the 43-yard line. They did move the ball to the 42.5. which may end up being the difference, but the chains appear to be short still, even with the friendly spots. This is a critical measurement in a game that has come down to inches. This is fitting for the way that this contest has gone so far. The chains are moving over. 9:18 to go, third quarter. RCC takes over on
Ball
downs.
turned over on down. It'll be a first down. Tigers!
And Malik Walker has been a bell cow so far, but on the first third quarter drive, RCC fed it to him on 3 consecutive runs. And he gained 9 yards, but the Tigers still went 3 and outs. Riverside will take the field with a terrific start. Stone Smart, 9 of 12, 128 yards passing. The NAU transfer takes over at the 43-yard line as the Tigers bring in 3 receivers, Tyrone Marshall right slot, joined by Houston and Stovall. Hornets with a nickel package. Low snap, Smart flips it quickly to Stovall. The Cal transfer has some room and makes a move out to the 49-yard line. Those were some fireworks as Henley combined with Shola for the tackle. Sophomore from Richmond, Texas. 5-yard completion and also some oohs and ahs from the crowd. Richard sophomore by way of Lancaster, California, just about halfway through the third quarter. And we have no score so far second half. Smart, stretch run right, and carrying the ball for the Tigers, Eric Buchanan, his first attempt of the season. And the true freshman is back to the line of scrimmage. Tigers face 3rd and 5. RCC is 2 for 7 on third downs tonight. They were 10 for 19 last week. That was their calling card of the win over El Camino. Yet so far, Fullerton has done a good job of forcing Stone Smarts to get rid of it before he wants to. He has been sacked 5 times so far. And he is a dangerous athlete, 6'5", 220 pounds. He'll line up with a shotgun with 3 receivers. First down, make the Fullerton 47. He looks left, flips it short. Stovall makes the catch. Slipped a tackle by Shola, 30, 20, and he is tackled there at the Fullerton 20-yard line. Melqui Stovall, it's a catch and run of 32. And Riverside is in the red zone as the Tigers have scored touchdowns on both red zone trips so far. And with a flag down, Buchanan's run will go for naught. 8:02 to go third quarter. RCC off the 4th down stop from their defense has marched from their own 42-yard line to the Fullerton red zone. But they may be pushed out of the red zone here. Yes, on the defense. Illegal formation, or illegal substitution, rather. Hornets began the ball game with 3 consecutive scoring drives of 34 yards, 74 yards, and also 85 yards, but still managed, despite the terrific start, a chance off of the score by way of Walker. And here, a trip in the red zone, a chance to take the lead. Midway through the third quarter, 5 eligibles in the formation. Smart is back, lobs into the end zone, and overthrows Kane Villemue. That would have been the game-tying touchdown. Smart was a surgeon in the first half, going 9 for 12. Ironically, in a huge moment, he overshoots the streaking Villemue. The freshman tight end for the Tigers by way of Wapahu, Hawaii. 6'2", 260 pounds. Hard that a man of that size is that open. Hard to miss him. Second and short from the Fullerton 15-yard line. Smart, belt eye snap, looks left, chucks it out, cuts, and it's caught inside the 10. Here's the dangerous Mitchell, who is out at the 6. Antonio Mitchell gives the Tigers a 1st and goal. The redshirt freshman from Murrieta, California, he played cornerback at Vista Murrieta High School. Moves over to receiver. Tigers have scored touchdowns on both red zone trips. Fisher next to Smart. They feed him over left guard. He slipped a tackle, motoring inside the 5, down to the 3, and number 3 is then dogpiled by 3 different tacklers, including number 7, Kerry Henley, as he was quickly submerged after that quick run. And with the penalty flag down, the clock will stop at 7:18. Oh, no, the clock is still running. Penalty flag is picked up. Tigers from their own 42 are down to the Fullerton 3. Walker, the tailback, they give it to him again. He cuts inside the 2, and he will be marked down to the 1 with a late signal. 3rd and goal, Riverside. Malik Walker has scored once today and twice this year. The Tigers sophomore from Corona remains the tailback. and a critical third down. Fullerton up 6 here midway through the third. Smart takes the snap, hands it to Walker. No, he took it himself. Touchdown Tigers. A late signal, and RCC has tied the game. Outstanding drive for the Tigers. A key play was the 32-yard catch and run by Melquist Stovall. And on 3rd and goal, the Tigers punch it in from 1 yard out. This PAT would put the Tigers from down 13 to up by 1 with 6:37 to go here in the third quarter. And we have a quick stoppage. Under Tom Kraft, the Tigers have won 40 consecutive regular season home games. Offside penalty declined, so they're going to redo this PAT. John Garibay for the lead. Matute will snap. Low on the way, and Garibay gives the Tigers the lead.
The kick is up. The kick is good. With 6:37 to go in the third quarter, the Riverside City College Tigers 21, the Fullerton Hornets 20.
RCC had a sluggish rushing performance against Fullerton last year, and go figure, in a new building, the Tigers employ a heavy dose of that ground game, go from down 13 to a 1-point lead midway into the third quarter. It's the second rushing touchdown. That was Malik Walker who ran it in. One from Victor Viramontes gives a long handoff. It appeared from my angle that the quarterback Smart sent it in, but it was a bang-bang play. Holtman ran in the end zone. Couldn't tell which one had the ball. And with 6:37 to play in the third quarter, RCC leads 21-20. Tigers after this contest on the road for 2 straight at San Bernardino Valley, and a visit to the beach to take on the Vikings of Long Beach City. But for the for the Tigers, who come in undefeated and winners of 46 of 47 home games under Kraft, Garibay's kickoff bounces in the end zone, and that will be called a touchback. And it just bounced in the end zone. That could have been a fortuitous bounce for the Tigers. Technically, that could have been an onside kick try. 6:37 left to go here in the third quarter. The Hornets take over an offense that has not scored in the last 24 minutes, allowing Riverside to come back down 13 to snatch the lead away from Fullerton on a Malik Walker touchdown scamper, his second of the ball game. Gress Jensen, a highly acclaimed career out of Auburn, Washington, and Montana, where he was recognized as one of the finalists for the National Freshman of the Year. He will hand off inside, and Quiros gains nothing. So Gress Jensen finished 3rd in voting for the Stats FCS Jerry Rice Award, given the National Freshman of the Year. He threw for over 2,500 yards and 20 touchdowns in Missoula at Montana. So he had a terrific freshman year. It is surprising, really, that he bounced back. But for Fullerton, they have had a spark on offense. He fires deep down the field, deflected from Owens, and nearly intercepted by Christian Swintz, as Gress Jensen threw it into traffic. He was 10 for 14 in the first half, but the quarterback has been significantly pressured in this third quarter. And now they face a 3rd down and 11. Hornets have been inept on 3rd down in this quarter. 5:57 to go in the third. RCC on defense, a stellar effort since the opening quarter, as they lead 21-20. Jensen takes the soft shotgun snap back with time, flips it left over to the diving Sean Carter, and he's down to the 31-yard line. It's a gain of 5. But the Hornets go 3 and out. Eric Wilson was covering that side, the Fresno State transfer. And now Fullerton will bring out the punt units. Corey Lewis has been a busy man now with his 2nd punt attempt in just this third quarter. And that is an absolute statement drive by the Tiger defense. Helmet high snap. Lewis gets it away with ease. It is a powerful punt, and it sails to the 23-yard line. DeQuante Showers to the 30, springs left, slips a tackle. Showers 40, cuts inside, and Showers is down to the Fullerton 49. A return of 24. DeQuante Showers, a three-star athlete out of Jacksonville with 14 D1 offers, including Appalachian State, Colorado, and Western Kentucky. And for Showers, that will put him in an opportunity, you have to believe, to garner more snaps on wide receiver duties, as he has mainly been a special teamer. Melqui Stovall, Tyrone Marshall, and Tyler Kennedy lines up with three receivers. Marshall slot right and wide motion on a 1st and 10 of the Fullerton 49. The NAU transfer takes the snap. Design run. He scampers ahead to the 41-yard line. Peter Kazibwe, sophomore from Colchester, Connecticut, records the tackle after the 8-yard gain. RCC with a quick drive here. 4:55 left to go, third quarter. Tigers with the ball at the Hornet 41, leading 21-20. RCC trailed by 13 late in the half, but scored on consecutive touchdowns from Walker, who will be spelled out of the ball game in favor of Eric Buchanan. 2nd and a long one. Smart calls signals with a tight end right, takes the snap. Tight end of the block. He shoots it deep. He's got a man open. Stovall dropped it. That would have been a touchdown.
Smart pass. Intended for number 1.
After the 32-yard catch and run from the Cal transfer Stovall, he drops what could have been an even bigger play for RCC. 4:27 to play, third quarter. Tigers lead 21-20. And one storyline last week, despite the blowout over El Camino, Tigers struggled to catch the football. There is a display of it again. Smart the shotgun against the Fullerton base 4-3, changes the play as he receives the new call from the sideline. Play clock down to 6 already, down to 5. He still is waiting. 3, 2, 1. They snap it just in time. Belt high. He is pressured. Steps up and is sacked. He did lose the football. It was a late fumble. Officials are trying to sort this one out. Fullerton signaling they have it. 4:15 to go, third quarter. This is a critical play as the Tigers lead by 1. Smart came away with the football. RCC maintains possession. 4th down. And of all players, with all the offensive and defensive linemen, it's the lanky quarterback, Stone Smarts, who scraps it up and recovers his own fumble. But the Tigers do stall, and one critical drop from Melqui Stovall is the key play on that drive. This third quarter has been filled with punt exchanges and also a turnover on downs. Garibay, a high punt, but it's short. Towards the right boundary, it does roll out of bounds, a coffin corner effort at around the Fullerton 12. So that was a solid effort from the special teamer Garibay and his third coffin corner of the season. 3:56 to go, third quarter of a slugfest. Fullerton 21, Riverside 20. The Hornets return home, well, their de facto home next Saturday, as they will play host at noon Pacific to the Dons of Santa Ana. That is at Yorba Linda's Nathan Chappelle Stadium before on the road to Southwestern against the Jaguars. 3:56 to play, third quarter. Both offenses have been dismal at best in the second half. Jensen with the snap yet again, throws a middle screen that is deflected from Jawan Johnson, incomplete. So in the first half, the Tigers, despite being outgained, had more first downs, and they by far and away won the battle of penalties. So Fullerton, despite becoming the national champions last year and holding an incredible roster this year, the Hornets have been the one committing a majority of the mistakes tonight. Fullerton at their own 12-yard line, and Jensen looks to throw again. He has been a busy man, steps up, unloads it over the middle, and it's caught by Johnson. He slipped a tackle, and Jawan Johnson is gone. That is an 87-yard touchdown, and the Hornets have taken the lead.
Number 24.
Resch Jensen went from being sacked back at the 5. He somehow evaded the pressure and launches a beauty on a skinny post to Johnson. But there is a penalty flag down.
The touchdown is good. Sideline warning, Fullerton. First warning of the game.
Well, the Hornets were fired up from before kickoff. And the sideline warning is assessed against that sideline, against those players for the Hornets who were so integral in getting this team juiced and ready. And they certainly looked prepared for it as they took the huge lead after RCC came back to snatch it 21-20 from the Hornets. Fullerton uses 2 plays and strikes yet again on a touchdown to Juwan Johnson. Now the Hornets are threatening to go for 2, but now whistles are being blown. Cheerleaders are chanting to block that kick, but I believe there's no kick that will be attempted. You gotta love the enthusiasm. Quiros flanks the quarterback right of a wide 2x2 bootleg as he'll flush the pocket, unloads into the end zone. It's caught by Juwan Johnson. The 2-point conversion is successful. And the Tigers down 7 with 3:40 to go in the third. See Fullerton on a strike to Johnson take a 28-21 lead. And it's a crushing touchdown as well because the Hornets, this pass offense last year was their weak spots. And now, after the Hornets graduated all 4 quarterbacks on their roster, including Ladarius Skelton, who was the #1 signal caller for them last year, the Hornets, they pick up a transfer about equal billing to that of Skelton. And he launches a beauty to give Fullerton the lead. Or the Hornets had mass turnover from a year ago. 32 Fullerton players advanced to the 4-year schools. 6 went to the FBS, and all 4 quarterbacks graduated from Fullerton last year. But they still managed to have a pretty solid roster to compete for a state and potentially national championship. And here they are up 28-21 on the road, late in the third quarter. A team that has won 21 in a row. Corey Lewis will tee it up with the Hornets up 7 in a back-and-forth ball game. Sophomore from Hurricane, Utah. From 11 yards, the southpaw runs into it and belts it down the field. End over end, this will be taken deep. Marshall from 3 yards will take it out with Kennedy providing the block. He's at the 10, and Marshall is spilled at the 20-yard line. The tackle from Zachariah Asiel, freshman from Miami. A 3:35 left to go here in the third quarter. Fullerton 28, Riverside 21. He transferred from Northern Arizona, and Stone Smart, who won the job at quarterback in the offseason, has willed these Tigers earlier in the third quarter into the lead. And here they are down by 7 with a chance for Stone Smarts and mainly Melquist Stovall to redeem himself. 3 receivers at the 20-yard line right hash. Tigers have gone heavy run in this third quarter, and here they are, stretch run left. Buchanan makes a move. He slashes across the 25, and he is leveled out of bounds by Henley at the 30-yard line. Officials are converging as Henley is talking to Buchanan. He's got the mouthpiece out, and there's the flag. Personal foul on Kerry Henley. And the Tigers will gain 25 yards, 10 yards from Buchanan, and 15 yards off the mistake.
Conduct, number 7 of the defense, 15 yards, first down.
The sophomore from Memphis lost his cool. 15-yard infraction. He is their deep safety and their absolute stud run stuffer. He already has 1 sack tonight and has been an absolute king in run supports. But he commits an absolute bonehead error that gives the Tigers a fresh set of downs. RCC's second play of this possession is at the 46-yard line. Antonio Mitchell right slot. Hornets with a nickel. Shotgun snap. He flips it short. He makes the catch to Stovall, dances past Brown, and spins to the 42-yard line where he is pulled by Ryan Simpson. Melquist Stovall with a gain of 13. First down, Tigers. The Cal transfer, at least momentarily, makes up for his drop in the end zone. RCC 3:13 to go, third quarter. have a chance to tie the ball game at 28 off the long ball to Jawan Johnson. First and 10 for the Tigers. RCC, after the gut punch, they have responded very well. Marching from their own 20-yard line to the Fullerton 42. Off the play action. Smart looks. He throws to the end zone and overshoots Stovall that time. Terrific blanket coverage along the left boundary by Jay Brown, the cornerback as a sophomore from Eastvale, California. 2:47 left to go here in the third quarter. 28-21 Fullerton. Hornets got off to the great start, but the Tigers have held their own since. A touchdown would tie the ball game. Mitchell right slots. Smart looks. He'll tuck it and run. He squirts over right guard and scrambles to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 2. As it sets up third and long for the Tigers. In the first half, Riverside was 2 for 6 on third down. I believe at the moment they are 3 for 9, converting third attempts.
On the carry, number 4, he stopped there by number 9.
Tyrone Marshall, he joins Alante Smith, along with Jamal Houston as the 3 receivers. Alante Smith checking in. It's just his third year playing organized football from Southfield, Michigan. He'll line a putt of a wide 2x2. Pistol sets on a 3rd and 8. Smart takes the snap. He looks down the field with a flag down, unloads into the end zone. Tipped away from Steele and nearly intercepted on the long ball intended for Jamal Houston. That may be a neutral zone infraction against Fullerton. Yes, it is.
Offside, 92 of the defense, 5 yards. Remains third down.
Shane Darso. We certainly understand the official. And now the Tigers, 2:04 to go, third quarter, down 7, have the ball on a 3rd and short at the Fullerton 35-yard line. What a football game. We have been treated to an absolute spectacle here from Arthur N. Wheelock Stadium in Riverside. The Tigers need the 32-yard line to convert. Malik Walker next to Stone Smarts. Timeout.
Timeout, Riverside.
RCC their first of the second half. I'd like to take this quick break to mention that tonight's game presented by Chick-fil-A, as the Tigers and the Hornets battle here late in the third quarter. And when it comes to the way that this game has transpired, win or loss, you have to be encouraged about Riverside's resolve, because they are playing the preseason #1 team in the state and the #2 team in the country, only behind East Mississippi. So they have all the tools, does Fullerton, to run the table, and the Tigers knew it coming in. But behind their home crowd and some energy from that defense, they have turned this game around from Fullerton up 13-0 and 20-7. The Tigers took the lead by 1, and now, after the touchdown from Johnson, have a chance to tie the game here in the third quarter. Nick Rice on hand, 2:04 to play here in the third. 28-21 Fullerton. And the Hornets, their head coach Tim Burns, he is the winningest coach in school history. That is just something to add on to the allure of Fullerton College. Wide 2x2, Stone Smart takes the snap, belt high, looks left, slings a slant. It's caught by Marshall. He turns upfield to the 20, loses the ball juggling it, but he is run out of bounds by way of Troy Leffeged at the Fullerton 10. Tyrone Marshall. He may not have some of the huge plays, but he makes integral third down pickups, and now the Tigers do it yet again. Clock is stopped with 1:47 left to go here in the third quarter. Now it is resumed. Wide 2x2 over left hash. It's a 1st and goal from the Fullerton 10. The Tigers have scored touchdowns on all 3 red zone trips. Handoff inside, spinning as Walker across the right guard, and he is stacked up and stopped at the 7-yard line. A 3-yard pickup to Walker as he is nearing 100 yards rushing tonight and already has racked up 2 rushing touchdowns. And that is more than he had all of last year, when he split carries with 4 other runners. 2nd and goal from the 7. Stone Smart calls signals. Late third quarter, they're down 7. Play action Smart sweeps left of the 10. After the straight arm, he gallops ahead of the 5 and is pulled backwards from the waist by Peter Kazibwe. 3rd and goal for RCC at the 5. This possession has chewed up over 4 minutes. 46 seconds to play here in the third quarter. An integral conversion on 3rd down by Tyrone Marshall has been the key play throughout this possession. And Tyrone Marshall is out of the ball game. It's a wide 2x2 split right slot for the Tigers as Joshua Grants. Smart looks deep, fires into the end zone. It's caught by Antonio Mitchell. Touchdown Tigers. Stone Smart, his first touchdown toss of the ball game. And RCC can tie the game with an extra point attempt from Garibay. No shortage of fireworks tonight from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium and a sellout crowd at Riverside, an hour east of Los Angeles. Garibay off a good hold. The kick is on the way and no good. He hooked it left.
With 23 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Fullerton still leads.
28. The Riverside City College Tigers 27.
A crushing missed point after try by John Garibay with 23 seconds to play in the third quarter. You never know what implications that miss will transpire, but we have plenty of time left to go in the ball game. Late third quarter, RCC down a point, 28-27, but Stone Smart throws his 4th touchdown of the season on a beautiful strike to Antonio Mitchell. In fact, the redshirt freshman, his first catch of his career here at RCC, go figure. It's a touchdown to trim the lead to 1. And now Garibay tees up the football at his own 35-yard line. Jawan Johnson, who scored the 87-yard touchdown, he joins Anthony Foster in the end zone. 7 yards away, John Garibay to kick off yet again. Tigers in a back-and-forth affair, down a point. It's a short kickoff, but is end over end. Foster on a hop, reels it into the 3 chest high, heads over right with a downfield block from Johnson, yet is belted down to the 26. And the tackle is made by the kicker, John Garibay. Whoa. He came in flying that time. Soaring right past all the return blockers for Fullerton.
36 on the return team. 10 yards from the spot.
You don't think that man is fired up from missing the PAT? And now he throws his mouthpiece out. I'm sure, is still thinking about the play that he missed, the PAT, but Garibay has remained one of the outstanding special teamers in the SCFA. He led the league as a true freshman in punting last year and has also been highly efficient on field goals, 6 of 8 last season for the Tigers, and is also a strong kickoff man. He's clapping his helmet. He's still frustrated about that missed PAT. Well, he is punching his helmet. That helmet's taking a beating along the sideline. But John Garibay has remained outstanding for the Tigers. 18 seconds to go, third quarter. Fullerton off of his tackle, taking over deep at the road end. This was also a penalty that helped the field position for RCC. The Hornets, since the early start, have scored 1 touchdown in the last 30 minutes.
Ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 80 on offense. Half to defense, still first down.
Lucas Luft, freshman from Naples, Florida, of Fullerton, commits the penalty on sportsmanlike conduct, and that allows the Hornets backed up to the 4-yard line. They have, does Fullerton, about 150 yards of penalties. That is more than their yards gained on the ground tonight. That is never a recipe for success, but somehow the Hornets still lead 28-27. And the outstanding performance tonight has gone to the quarterback of the Hornets, Gresh Jensen. Tigers line up in a nickel package against the four receivers of Fullerton. Jensen takes the shotgun snap, a late draw, and Riverside saw it coming. Mitchell Agood clogs up the A-gap and records the tackle for loss. And Fonte Eckford, hard to believe, he has a career average of 6 yards a carry for the Hornets. Tonight, Eckford averaging less than half that. We have reached the end of the third quarter here on Tigers Football, RCCathletics.com. It's Riverside down to Fullerton, but has forced a Hornets second and long. Fullerton 28, Riverside 27. This game has been back and forth. Hornets began with 2 touchdown runs, one from Devin Quiros, one from Jared Moore, missed PAT from Corey Lewis, and the Hornets led 13-0 late first quarter. Victor Viramontes capped off an 8-play, 75-yard touchdown drive, giving the Tigers their first points, 13-7. Fullerton scored again quickly after, before Malik Walker ended the first half with a 2-yard touchdown run, and the lead was trimmed to 6. RCC, following that halftime break, took the ball the length of the field, scoring on a Malik Walker touchdown to take a 21-20 lead. Juwan Johnson scored 2 plays later for Fullerton, 28-21. And if you're not dizzy enough, Tigers score yet again late third quarter on the touchdown Stone Smart to Antonio Mitchell. 28-27 off the missed Garibay PAT as we have switched sides to begin the fourth quarter. Fullerton will move from right to left. The wind is moving so slightly over to the left that the field goal flags on the top of the uprights is blowing just ever so slightly against the Hornets. Most likely that won't make any impacts on the passing game in this fourth quarter, but it is coming from a sweltering start to the ball game. It is a comfortable 80 degrees here from Riverside at Arthur and Wheelock Stadium. As the Tigers, against their seemingly bitter rivals, they have really developed a sort of a rivalry as of late against their near crosstown rival in the Fullerton Hornets. 4 receivers, Jensen in the end zone, back 3 yards. With time, he tucks it to the 10 and scampers to the 15. Tripped up by way of French after the run of, that time, 11 yards. All right, Darrell French has received some quality snaps, sophomore from Riverside, and that sets up for the Hornets a 3rd down and 7. Hard to believe Fullerton would be backed up this deep yet again if it weren't for the penalties, where they've committed about 150 yards of flags so far tonight. 4 receivers on a 3rd down. Jensen back, hit as he throws, and he fires to the right sideline where Houston makes the diving catch. And Dennis Houston is down to the 26-yard line. It was very close as he had to rip it out of the ground, out of the turf. Tigers on substitutions. Jensen with a free play. He will take a shot down the field into coverage intended for Houston. Gene Joseph, good coverage out there as it's incomplete. 45 seconds into the fourth quarter. Fullerton leads 28-27.
Substitution in practice. Defense. 5 yards. Repeat the down.
Penalties has also been a storyline tonight, benefiting both teams. And now the Hornets are up on the ball at the 31-yard line. There's Jensen last week threw for 172 yards. He has over 100 yards more tonight. As the ball's at the 31-yard line, stunts defensively. Jensen shoots it down the field, tipped and nearly intercepted by Joseph. The cornerback jumped the route, and the freshman from Naples nearly had his second. Jensen last week threw for 172 yards. He has over 100 yards more tonight. As the ball's at the 31-yard line, stunts defensively. Jensen shoots it down the field, tipped and nearly intercepted by Joseph. The cornerback jumped the route, and the freshman from Naples against the blitz. Bootleg left. He gets by Ramirez. Steps up, chucks it over the middle. And the pass is caught by Spencer Owens, the tight end, with his first catch of the season. He's down to the 45. A completion of 12 yards. And the play was made in the pocket by Gresh Jensen. Hard to believe that he has negative yards rushing this year, because he is quite the athletes. Hard to bring down, 6'2", 225. That is the measurables of the quarterback. 1st and 10, Hornets their own 44. Jensen looks to throw again, steps up, and he evades the rush before scampering to the 50. Caleb Fitzgerald, freshman from Anaheim, makes the stop. After the 6-yard scramble from the quarterback, Chris Jensen, Hornets had a 2nd down and 13 from their own 3. And they have marched to the 50-yard line, led entirely by Montana transfer Gress Jensen. Nearly 2 minutes in, 4th quarter. Hornets on the move, right to left. They lead 28-27. Kiros, the running back, releases. Jensen throws it out, cut right. Johnson is walloped, but maintains possession after the hit from Ahone White. And that was just inches short of the 1st down marker. White stepped in beautifully, did the linebacker. 3rd and 1. Quick snap, and Kiros gets leveled on an inside run. Devin Charles denies the running back. Fullerton is stood down on 3rd and that was just inches short of the 1st down marker. White stepped in beautifully, did the linebacker. 3rd and 1. Quick snap, and Kiros gets leveled on an inside run. Devin Charles provides the defensive play of the ball game. Whoa. Sophomore from Redlands, California. He was buried in the limelight. He had 34 tackles. Oh, Tigers nearly get a 12th man of the field penalty. The punt with no return man will sail inside the 10 and bounces towards the Tigers. It stopped at the 29-yard line. Outstanding bounce in favor of Riverside. 12:07 left to go here, 4th quarter. Riverside takes over their own 29-yard line. Now 28-27 in a back-and-forth affair.
Correction, 28-yard line.
28-yard line, correction. And this crowd has gone a bit silent because of the sombering hits delivered by Ahone White. That was an absolute collision. Pistol set as the Tigers begin the drive with a stretch run. Malik Walker's loose to the 30 and motors out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Steele delivered a hit out of bounds, but there's no penalty flag thrown and no extra jawing after the play was over. It's a pickup of 11 and a 1st down for Malik Walker. The Hornets led the league and ranked 3rd in the state in scoring defense. Last year allowing just 17 points per game, but they gave up 27 to Golden West and 27 currently to the Tigers as Fullerton is clinging to a 1-point lead. Tigers fresh set of downs at their own 39 right hash. As Smart, the NAU transfer, waits for the snap and takes it. Off a design run, cuts left, but runs out of room at the 41-yard line. Stacked up by Andrew Glover, sophomore from Magnolia, Texas. It's a 2-yard pickup
on the carry for Riverside, number 4.
11:29 left to go in the ball game. 28-27, Fullerton. Hornets bring in quick substitutions as Ryan Simpson is spelled in favor of Caleb Johnson. Hornets jumped into the neutral zone, but there's no flag. Smart launches over the middle and throws high to Marshall. Knocked away by Henley. Did I miss a penalty flag there? One of the Hornets jumped well into the neutral zone. No flag, and the Tigers are beside themselves as head coach Tom Kraft is speaking it over with the official. 11:11 left to go here in the ballgame. 3rd and 8 for the Tigers. RCC has struggled on 3rd down tonight. They'll need the 49-yard line to convert. Hornets scrambling late. Deep drop here is Smart. Fires over the middle. It's caught by Tyler Kennedy. He's down to the 44. Jay Brown makes the catch. It's a gain of 16. No, gain of 14, sorry. Tyler Kennedy had an outstanding career at Rancho Verde High School in Moreno Valley with over 100 catches and 18 touchdowns. He split far left, gut run Walker, slipped a tackle, but then stumbles at the 32 as Jay Brown upends the running back on an 11-yard gash and yet another Tiger 1st down. RCC from their own 25-yard line over to the Fullerton 32. 10:43 left to go. Wide 2x2 down on points. Inside run Walker. He squirts over left guard to the 30. And down he goes at the 28-yard line, gain of 4. 10:30 left to go in the contest. Riverside, after being down 13, has taken at one point a 1-point lead, now is down 1. Tigers up on the ball near the red zone. But they have been perfect so far. Beldeye snaps Smart, and he is sacked, but there should be a penalty for neutral zone.
Penalty flag on the field.
Yes. The Hornets, to say they are anxious on defense may be an understatement. They are so jazzed to get after the quarterback. They have committed numerous penalties here with neutral zone infractions. In fact, seemingly all the yardage they gained of the sacks, they have lost in penalties. Offside.
5 yards from the previous spot. Second down.
Omar Gonzalez. The number 1 team in the state, number 2 in the country. The Fullerton Hornets backed up against the wall as they are clinging to a 1-point lead. Against the blitz, Riverside goes a draw, and Walker loses the football, picked up by the quarterback Smart. He's loose to the 20 and takes a tumble to the 12-yard line. Xavier Steele trips him up and saves the touchdown. The ball bounces to Smarts, and the Tigers have moved the chains. Riverside has a red zone trip where they are 4 for 4 tonight. Hornets threatening blitz again as Fullerton lines up with a nickel package and press coverage outside. On the wide 2x2, Buchanan the tailback, they'll fake it to him, sweeping right, here's Smart to the 10, gets a downfield block, 5-4, 3-2-1, he dives over the pylon, touchdown Tigers. Stone Smart from 12 yards out has given the Tigers the lead with 9:31 to go in the ball game. Do they go for 2 here? As it's a 5-point ball game. There's some confusion right now. Play clock is at 23. John Garibay, the sophomore from Riverside, California, is the kicker, but Victor Viramontes is out there. He scored the rushing touchdown to get the scoring started for the Tigers. Clock is reset to 25 seconds, the play clock is, and now the officials are getting involved. Victor Viramontes is about as good a backup quarterback as there is in the country. Viramontes set to take the direct snap. As he grabs it belt high off a motion, he loses the ball. He's retreating back to the 15, running deep. He looks and throws across his field into the end zone for Marshall, and it's knocked away by Caleb Johnson. Victor Viramontes, some Houdini back there, as he nearly fumbled it away, but managed to give his receiver Tyrone Marshall a shot. RCC leads 33-28. Whoa, what a ball game. The go-ahead score came from 12 yards out on an outside scamper from quarterback Stone Smarts, who won the job in the offseason over some veteran quarterbacks behind him. Josh Owen most notably from Waco, Texas, was one of the players beat out for the job and manages now to score a go-ahead touchdown. 9:31 to go in the ball. It should be noted the Hornets have scored just once in the last 35 minutes. 33-28 Riverside. Glad you're with us for tonight's broadcast of RCC football, week 2 between the Tigers and the Hornets. Magnolia Heating and Cooling and Chick-fil-A are proud sponsors of tonight's call. Nick Rice on hand, Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside. 9:31 to go in the ball game. John Garibay, the kickoff. He also recorded the tackle on the last kickoff. He sends it away, and boy, this is an absolute bomb. 8 yards into the end zone over Foster for a touchback. What has gone lost in all of this is John Garibay, along with Corey Lewis, have put on a display of kickoff supremacy in this conference. John Garibay, yes, played soccer in high schools, switched to football in college. That was a pretty nice transition. And it's coming to me, Jimmy Camacho was the kicker formerly for the Tigers, went on to Fresno State, and was also being looked on by numerous NFL scouts. 4 receivers, chest-high snap, a deep drop. Jensen throws a middle screen, caught by a safety valve. There's Johnson, who sweeps left and picks up the Hornets' first down. Swift knocks him out of bounds off the gain of 11. First down, Fullerton. Fullerton does a good job off of the touchdown from Smarts, as Fullerton trails by 5, 9:18 to go in the ball game. Hornets at the 36-yard line, left hash, low snap. Jensen swings it left. It's caught by Moore in stride of the 40, and he motors down the left sideline and is marked out of bounds at the 49. The tackle by Devin Charles. 2 quick completions from Chris Jensen, the transfer from Montana, and 25 yards is the result. They're out to midfield. Hornets on the ball quickly. This possession has already just taken 20 seconds. Bootleg right, Jensen looks deep. He sets his feet, shoots it down the right sideline, deflected and incomplete. That was underthrown. Intended on a fly route to Tim Allen. Deshaun Neal was the one who knocked it away. The cornerback for the Tigers, by way of Riverside, Oregon, his first deflection of the season. A back-and-forth ball game between the top 2 teams in the state, a game which may end up deciding playoff seeds, conference championships, and maybe even who wins the state title. It is that important of a ball game. 3 receivers for the Hornets at midfield on 2nd and 10. Under 9 to go in the contest. Chest-high snap, Jensen in pressure, steps up and is sacked. Nicholas Figueroa joins Deshaun Neal in the backfield. It's a loss of 2. And now the Hornets face 3rd and 12. Fullerton scored once since their touchdown to take a 27 lead to Dennis Houston with 14:31 to go second quarter. So they have 8 points in the last 35 minutes, but still only trail by 5 in what has been a slugfest. 3rd and 12. First they'll make at the RCC 40 as Jensen barks out signals and the Tigers are threatening blitz. They'll rush 3 and drop 8. Jensen a deep drop, chucks it right. Over on a hitch route. It's caught by Xavier Green. And Gene Joseph makes the tackle, but forward progress will give him 13 yards. First down, Fullerton. Xavier Green, sophomore from Killen, Texas, had just 1 catch last week, 2 tonight. And the Hornets are in business at the RCC 39. A field goal does them little good with 7:52 to go in the ball game, down 5. Jensen sweeping off the play action, keeps it himself and scampers to the 30 as he crawls ahead for 9. Popo records the tackle. So after Fullerton had been stacked up a majority of the second half, off the touchdown to take the lead, they respond with a championship caliber drive. This is the type of effort that Fullerton has used in those late game situations all of the last couple years. They want a state title with a game-winning drive. And their 16-12 victory over American River in the state championship. Hornets have got a man down on the field, and this will stop the momentum of the Hornets. 7:40 to go in the ball game. Fullerton has been on the wrong side of seemingly every injury timeout tonight. As the Tigers collect their breath, Fullerton from their own 25 advanced the ball to the Tiger 29. Spencer Owens, sophomore tight end from Lakewood, California, is the one who is hurt and will walk off the field. He had 1 catch tonight, but it was a big one, converting a 3rd down, as we saw there on the Xavier Green catch a moment ago. Wide 2x2 for Fullerton at the Tiger 29-yard line. Shotgun snap, Jensen dumps it off quickly to the leaping Tim Allen. He is hit and wrapped up at the line by the waist, and down he goes. Joseph with a tackle. All right, this time the Hornets, Vincent Narvaez, number 50, is the injured Hornets. 7:14 to go in the ball game. Fullerton moved the chains on a short pickup. A great contingency tonight of RCC Tigers in sellout numbers. The Tigers fill the stands for what is a critical showdown. Even following this RCC ball game, the Tigers will return home in a few weeks, late September, to battle the Olympians of San Diego Mesa. It's coming up on the 29th. Be sure to catch that live stream here. And make sure to visit online for the availability of all broadcasts, as the Tigers will be at San Bernardino Valley next week. 4 receivers for Fullerton at the 28-yard line. Off the play action, Jensen races across the 20. He runs into an official, stays on his feet, and takes a tumble to the 13. Fullerton is putting together an outstanding drive here in the fourth quarter. Hornets from their own 25. Hornets to the Tiger 14. Tigers bringing a late substitution. Jensen has thrown for nearly 300 yards tonight, and Dennis Houston singled up right, caught one of his touchdowns. 3 wide left. Hornets are in the red zone. He takes the snap, gut run to Eckford, and he bounces right before getting smothered at the 11-yard line. A pickup of 3. As the Tigers put a stop to it quickly with a tackle by Zachariah Hollifield, along with Mitchell Agood, sophomore from Corona, California. This possession for Fullerton has chewed up less than 3 minutes. Hornets in the red zone at the 12-yard line of RCC, down by 5 late in the ball game. Infante Eckford, the tailback. They fake it to him. He throws a slant, too tall for Houston. Good coverage out there by Eric Wilson with a flag down. With 6:07 to go in the ball game. Hard to tell where this is going. Tigers should get a shot out of an offense, no matter how this drive ends. Coming off a touchdown from Stone Smart.
Face man, defensive number 17, pass to the goal, first down.
Eric Wilson grabbed the face mask, and it's a fresh set of downs. First and goal, Fullerton at the 6-yard line. Eckford flanks Jensen. Thrilling ball game, and it has come down to the bitter end. 6:07 to play. Fullerton down 33-28. Shotgun snap off the play action. He runs left, veering to the 5 and crawls to the 2 as he was stacked up short of the goal line by Edward Calhoun, the redshirt freshman from Riverside. It's a 4-yard gallop that time from Gress Jensen, one of the premier freshmen in the Big Sky Conference. The Montana transfer looks over the Tiger nickel on 2nd and goal from the 2. And now barks out new signals. 5:35 to go in the ball game. Fullerton down by 5 with a red zone chance where the Hornets have starred tonight. Speed option. Jensen tosses. Eckford has room. Touchdown, Fullerton.
That's number 26.
2-yard touchdown on a speed option toss to Infante Eckford. It's his first touchdown of the ball game. And the Hornets have taken a 34-33 lead with the PAT pending, and it appears that they will go for 2. RCC missed the 2-point try and has been chasing 1 point ever since. Hornets want to make it a 3-point lead. Block that 2-point conversion try. Speed option, fake toss. Jensen reverses field. This is going nowhere. He throws it backwards and out of bounds.
With 5:20 to go in the fourth
5:20 to go fourth quarter. Fullerton leads 34-33.
33.
The RCC Tigers, what is on the line tonight, they have won 40 consecutive home games in the regular season. And moreover, the Tigers look to snap Fullerton's win streak. They have, no matter where they've played, knocked off their last 21 opponents, dating back over a year and a half. Incredible effort from Fullerton as this team, yet again, is placed in an opportunity to compete for a state championship. The Tigers have hung in tough. No shame in the way either team has performed tonight. 5:20 to go. Fullerton 34, Riverside 33 in a game that will easily shape the landscape across the conference and the SCFA, and a battle between the top two teams in this division and in the state of California. Teeing up the football, the 35 is Lewis once more, in a game that has transpired into a shootout after the Hornets scored for the second time in this half. 34-33, Fullerton. Lewis with the left leg, swings it end over end. And running up on the ball at the 6-yard line to take it back is Tyrone Marshall. He gallops to the 20, finds a seam, reverses field left. Marshall 30, 35-40, and is run out of bounds to the 44-yard line by ACL. A return of 45.
47-yard line.
Tigers have an outstanding start to their next drive. And Stone Smart scored a 12-yard rushing touchdown to cap off the last possession. Hard to believe that Victor Viramontes, the All-State quarterback with over 3,000 yards all-purpose last year, taken over by Stone Smart, has played just about as well so far tonight. 3 receivers, they set up shop, 45-yard line, design run, scrambling right and losing ground is Smart. He gets by one man to the 40 and is upended to the 43. The collision delivered by the star corner, Kerry Henley, sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee. Loss of 2 on the play by Stone Smart, but it could have been 5. The quarterback did a good job getting outside the pocket there. 2nd and 12. Under 5 minutes to go in the ball game. RCC has 2 timeouts. Fullerton has all 3 in their back pockets. The Tigers bring in late substitutions with a play clock at 12. At 11, Tigers get in the call from Tom Kraft with 7. By 2x2 with 5 left to go. There's a penalty flag thrown. This is not delay of game. It's something else. False start. Tom Kraft is giving the officials a
26 of the offense. 5 yards. Second down.
4:35 to play in a thrilling football game. These fans have patiently waited for about 3 hours to see the results of a critical contest. This may be the stiffest test RCC has all regular season. Wide 2x2, chest high snap. Smart throws a slant. It's wide. Incomplete, intended for Mitchell, who's calling for a flag and won't get it. Simpson on the coverage. Sophomore from Riverside. He transferred from Mount San Antonio.
Incomplete. Brings up a 3rd and long.
3rd down for the Tigers and 17. They have converted plays like this before. Wide 2x2 with 4:26 to go in the game. Smart back with time. He steps up, rolling right, fakes, he'll run. This is not a first down pickup, but he does scamper to the 48-yard line. It's a pickup of 7 yards that time from Stone Smart to add on yards to the punt. Plenty of time left for RCC to make a stop. Fullerton 34, Riverside 33 with 4 minutes to play. Garibay has pinned their opponents inside the 20 3 times this season on 10 punts. And the return man downs is back at his own 15. Garibay from the 31, ready to send it down the field with a play clock at 7. Takes the chest high snap. Belts it, a wobbling punt, end over end down, signals fair catch, and reels it in chest high at the 25-yard line. He had to chase it down for 10 yards away. 3:37 to go in the ballgame. Fullerton can move the chains once or twice and still be stopped with time left. So plenty of opportunities for the Tigers here in the 4th quarter, but they must make the stop on defense. Fullerton 34, Riverside 33. The game comes down to a Hornets drive and this Tiger defense, at least for now. Sean Carter is the receiver with Owens, Foster, and Green has the receiving targets rights. But most likely Fullerton will run the ball down the stretch 4th quarter. 3:37 to go in an outstanding football game. Sweeping run. Eckford is smothered in the backfield, and down he goes back to the 21-yard line. A loss of 3.5 to Infante Eckford. Next snap for the Hornets should be under 3 minutes to go. RCC has 2 timeouts in their back pockets. Second and a long 13. Substitutions, Fullerton. Tigers line up in the nickel package. Fullerton scored a touchdown to the last drive, and here they are needing only a couple chain movers here from the 22 right hash. With 3 minutes left to go in the contest, Tigers need a stop. RCC with 6 defensive backs, but it's a gut run to Eckford. He squirts over right guard, and Viramontes makes the play at the 27, gain of 5. RCC could call a timeout, but they decide to let it roll. 2:43. That's a late timeout by Kraft. Their second. And it's a smart timeout with 2:43 left to go in the game. All right, Fullerton and Riverside came in undefeated. And with this game potentially deciding the SCFA playoff seeding, potentially. Now there's a lot of football to be played. Both teams have to be encouraged, ranked number 1 and number 2 in the state, that this is the difference between the best and the second best in California. And without question, unless there is a sleeper in a potential Ventura or Mount San Antonio, this is a battle between the 2 best in the state and maybe the 2 best in the country. RCC has players from 15 total states and Australia. And Fullerton is a national program as well. Only 52% of their players come from California. So both rosters are from wide and abroad. And on third down, it's the Hornets who need the 35 to knock off, or at least stave off for the moment, number 2 Riverside. 3rd and 8. Jensen will get the call from the sideline, but they have plenty of time on the play clock. Tigers with press coverage out there and no high safety. Jensen claps his wrist as he retreats back to the shotgun set, takes it, he'll throw. Chased by Figueroa, flicks over the middle. It's caught by Johnson. He races to the 50 and is tackled by Swint to the Tiger 39. Jensen was chased by Figueroa but managed a beautiful seam route over to Johnson, and with 2:40 to go in the ball game, a timeout is called by Riverside, their last. Now, even with the Jawan Johnson catch, Tigers can still get the ball back with plenty of time left, as they would have possession with about 40 seconds left, maybe 35 if they force a 3 and out. And with Stone Smart, the quarterback, that is a significant amount of time. But the Jawan Johnson catch is huge for Fullerton. Tigers, following this contest, hit the road for 2 straight at San Bernardino Valley in week 3, followed by the Vikings of Long Beach City. Fullerton returns home at Yorba Linda's Nathan Chappelle Stadium to tangle with the Dons of Santa Ana at noon Pacific. Both teams in their title chase have a long way to go as we take just an inside look at what these teams, just a glimpse of what they may look like in a couple months. But right now, Fullerton looks really good. The Hornets gave up the lead consecutive times on a back-and-forth ball game, but here they are with a chance, following the go-ahead score from Jensen to win the game. Quinn Kamens checks in at quarterback for the Hornets. Freshman from La Habra, California, with a chance to win it. From the 39-yard line, fakes the handoff, scrambles right to the 36. As he is tripped up by Victor Viramontes along with Ahon White is Quinn Comans. Both Comans and Jensen, and even Smith as well, actually, 3 different quarterbacks, have seen significant snaps early this year. 2:21 to go in the ballgame. Fullerton fielding the 1-point lead, but they need one more chain mover to win the game. Eckford flanks Comans about a half battle length behind him right at the 43-yard line. Play clock is down to 12 as Comans calls signals and is back in the gun on 2nd and 8. 2:02 to go in the contest. Crowd chants for the defense. High snap, inside run, and Eckford is spilled back of the line of scrimmage. Tigers cannot stop the clock, but Fullerton can. Maybe they need this quick clock stoppage. It's a 3rd and 8. Tigers, if they get this play stopped, will retain the ball again with about 30 seconds to go, maybe 40. And Fullerton is taking every precious second off the clock. After RCC faltered on 3rd down, they gave the ball back to the Hornets with about 4 minutes left, and Jensen threw a critical strike to Jawan Johnson to move the chains, and now the Hornets on 3rd down need the 29-yard line. Tigers need the stop. And with 1:13 to go, the clock is stopped as the play is halted. Timeout.
Fullerton, first timeout of the half.
Riverside plays the #1 team in the state, #2 in the country, trails 13 points midway through the first quarter, and still manages a chance to make a stop, get the ball back, and win the game. All they would need is a field goal from John Garibay. Fullerton stops it, or rather RCC stops it here. They can force a punt with about 30 seconds left. 1:13 to play in the 4th quarter. Fullerton holding on to a 34-33 lead at the moment. As we'd like to take this moment to review tonight's ground spot to Magnolia Heating and Cooling along with Chick-fil-A. Today this broadcast possible in all of our lives for you as the Tigers return home on conference finale. Third down and 8 for Fullerton. Back and forth affair here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium. Hornets need the 29-yard line for the win. Tigers need any sort of a stop in order to get the ball back down 1 with under a minute left. Coleman's at quarterback. 3 receivers for the Hornets on 3rd and long. Tigers threaten blitz. They bring 7. Inside run, and Eckford won't even get close. Darryl French was one of the Tigers involved in the tackle, as he joins number 59 for RCC, Adrian Sandoval. So the Hornets are stopped and now face 4th down. Fullerton could go for it here, though, on a 4th and 7, a long 7. The 2 timers are separated by 28 seconds, and it looks like they will burn a timeout. The Hornets have a highly acclaimed coach in his 11th season, Tim Burns, the veteran who is the #1 highest win percentage coach in the history of Fullerton College. So quite the resume. 7-time SCFA Coach of the Year, back-to-back All-America team coach selections, as the Hornets take a delay of game with 26 seconds left to go in the ball game. It appeared the 2 timers are separated by 28 seconds, but we'll take 26. And the Tigers should get the ball with about 20 seconds left. But this veteran head coach knows the type of situations that he was put in throughout this contest and maybe throughout this drive for RCC. Lewis takes the snap. The punt is end over end. It wobbles across the 10, bounces, rolling inside the 5-yard line, and is in the end zone for a touchback with 16 seconds left. That was a high enough punt that it took 10 seconds off the clock. So the Tigers need about 55 yards for field goal range for Garibay, 80 yards for a game-winning touchdown. They have 16 seconds left. Tigers with long odds to win this one here against the #1 team in the state. We will have a victor in regulation. At least we should. Stone Smarts. Hornets burn a timeout because Shane Darso was late to get off the field. That is the epitome of that second half for the Hornets, but Fullerton took the lead with a Gretsch Jensen touchdown, and the Hornets did a great job forcing the stop for the Tigers, and with 4 minutes to play, shoot up almost all the clock. The RCC has run very short. Once again, glad you're with us. RCC football, RCCathletics.com, presented by Magnolia. A back-and-forth affair, and we have come down to the bitter end. 1 timeout to go for Fullerton. With 16 seconds. Tigers have the ball at their own 20-yard line, down 34 to 33. Dunmar Fisher is at running back, but the Tigers will spread it out with 2 receivers to each side. Hornets with 1 high safety. They have 5 defensive backs. Stone Smarts waits in the shotgun. He takes the snap, a blitz of 5. He stands back, steps up and is sacked. 11 seconds left, 10, 9. Tigers with a scramble to the football. He may clock it with 6, 5, 4. Tigers are late and they spike the ball with 1 second left. There should be 1 second. Fullerton is celebrating, but the officials are discussing. Tigers did a great job of returning to the line of scrimmage in time.
On the clock.
Yes, barring a penalty, one of the most critical games of the 2018 season comes down to this. After the Stone Smart sack, there's 1 second left, and now utter confusion by both football teams. And the head coach for Fullerton, Tim Burns, is standing well inside his restricted area. Officials signaled we need 1 second left of the clock, but Fullerton is celebrating and they're running on the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of tonight's game. The final
And the game is over.
The Fullerton Hornets 34, the Riverside City College Tigers 33. Want to thank everybody for coming out. Everybody have a great weekend.
A tough pill to swallow for Riverside, but they hung in tough against the #1 team in California and played them to the bitter end. But Fullerton squeaks by the Tigers by the final score in an absolute barn burner, 34 to 33. An incredible performance all around. Stone Smart, despite being sacked for just the first time in the second half, he was blitzed, hurried, and harassed the majority of the nights. And that is the way the game ends, as Stone Smart is sacked and the Tigers take too long to run on the field to spike the football. Officials initially signaled 1 second left, but they wind up the clock, and Fullerton wins the game. The Hornets have won 22 in a row, dating back to October of 2016, and the Tigers, all good records come to an end. Lose at home in the regular season for the first time in 9 years. And that'll do it. Should do it for our coverage here from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium. We'd like to thank all of the folks who were involved with making this broadcast possible. And we were glad for all of you who were involved in watching this absolute terrific football game. We were all treated to a classic. And the Tigers fall short, but should be proud of the way they performed tonight. Fullerton, the defending national champions, win the ball game by the final of 34 to 33. Just a reminder, Tigers back on the road next week to tangle with San Bernardino Valley, as you can, with RCCathletics.com, visit there online to get details on how to catch the game, along with all of our broadcasts and all stats and stories from RCC football and RCC athletics. For Nick Rice and the rest of our broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. Also, a quick thanks to our sponsors, Magnolia Heating and Cooling, and also Chick-fil-A. Good night from Riverside as Fullerton knocks off Riverside 34 to 33.